Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Nation. It is Wednesday night. We are very excited to be here. I've got a great cast of people here. As always, I do want to start off by sharing some sad news, though. We do lose 2 cast members, as GKB and She-Wolf are no longer a part of Xbox Nation. Sadly, they are focusing on their own stuff. They're focusing on their own show. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
I think you're live.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah. At the end of the day, crap, you just got to do you, right? So it's unfortunate. I was looking forward to talking to them this week.
You guys hear the echo?
No. I don't hear nothing.
Nope.
It's you.
It's your conscience.
You are live.
Okay.
He's trying to figure out where the fuck the echo is.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Well.
Crapping his hockey ears.
Well, hey, talk amongst yourself for a second. I'm gonna try to come back in here. What's up? Jesus.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Well, I'll take over the mic here. Yesterday came out the Necromancer DLC for Diablo, which is a game that just seems to never go away. And some of the panel members here, Noof purchased it today. I actually got a chance to play with K Mega last night, and I believe Dealer and Rand are either flirting with the idea of it or they just don't like
doing it live. Okay,
Diablo. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
You guys are all gonna think I'm gonna do the
All right, I was flirting with some shit, and then crap came in. I don't even know what the fuck is going on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, basically what happened was I had it open on another browser for some reason. Like I had 2 browsers open, and so God. The other browser had it live. Yeah, so I was hearing it echo, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Disorientating. What is that? That word, disorienting.
Yes.
There we go.
But yeah, what I wanted to say was GKB and She-Wolf are focusing on their channel and streaming and stuff like that on Mixer. Everything was cool. There was no kind of animosity there or anything. So I wish them 100% luck. I'm still going to be streaming with them and stuff on Fridays, and they could still be guests at times, and I could still be guests on their show and things like that. But just wanted to let everybody know that that's what's going on. So don't, nothing sinister or anything like that. I know how some of you people get. It's all good.
Crap, I can picture you right now as being like Jim Brewer when he was in Half Baked. He's like, "Don't freak out!
Yeah, don't freak out! Everything
freak out! Everything's all right." Crap.
Everything's all right. Trust me. Everybody's still cool. They weren't. I have had to kick out a few people in the past, but this wasn't that case at all. So, but we will miss them. Wish them luck with their stuff. It probably wasn't a very easy decision for them to leave, and 100%, man. They're my friends, and I wish them nothing but the best of success. Let me introduce everybody. Dealer, what's up?
Me first?
Yeah.
Yeah, not much, man. Just joining the best podcast on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, at 8 p.m.
And looking forward to talking about the topics, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you stepping out here. And let's see, I got Mooch. Everybody, the Mooch Maniacs travel well. So, man, thank you for coming out.
No problem, buddy. Anytime I see the fucking Mooch symbol in the sky, I just fucking grab my microphone and head over. Not a problem.
I cranked it on, man. I was like, Mooch.
Yeah, that light was huge. It was like, I was like, oh, shit. No problem, man. It's going to be a great show. Listen, thanks to the ridiculous upside-down media and the nonsense of people online defending them, there's always something great to talk about.
They give us lots to talk about, don't they? I mean,
yes,
that's the most important thing. We also have Noof Nukem. He's back. What's up, Noof?
Yo, it's your friendly neighborhood Goofy Noofy, ready to rock and roll, people. Great panel, lots of good topics. Yeah, it's going to be good. Always nice to be here, Crap. Thanks again for the invite, brother.
No problem, man. We've got K Mega 405. What's up?
You ready to rock and roll?
Whoa! I'm over here seeing this. Damn, what's going on? There you go. Hold on. There you go. All right.
Man, there we go.
I'm already. Yeah. Well, no, but it's like what, my 3rd or 4th time on this show. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So now I just have to. What's happening, everybody? K-Mega's here, and I'm ready to preach. It's
I'm glad, man.
Let's have a good damn time. Thank you for having me on.
No problem, man. And we got Rand Thor, the man with the million. He's stopping in as well. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And he's gone.
And he's almost there. He's refilling the soft serve. That must be
Rand.
Yeah, that must be what's going on.
You heard an achievement.
There he is.
Oh, wait,
There he is.
back.
There's 2 Rands.
Now that we're double the fun.
What? Now he's got 2 million gamer score.
Yes.
We'll never catch up.
Hi, Rand.
No.
Hello. We miss you. We wish you could talk.
Oh,
But you can't.
We miss you.
There's gonna be 3.
Yeah.
There's gonna be 3 Rands. Hey Rand, when you pop back in, man, just talk and we'll we'll get into it. Let's jump right into the topics, man. Xbox games with gold, man. Runbow, Grow Up, Kane and Lynch 2, Lego Pirates. This is probably the worst lineup we've had since games with gold came out. Honestly, I don't know what they're thinking.
Does anybody know what the games are, Crap? Because I don't even know what Grow Up or Runbow. Is Runbow that game where it's a multi-player game? It looks very much like IDAR, but it's a side scroller that continues through levels. Is it something like that?
I don't even know.
I think it literally just debuted on the console. I think that's the first time it's been on. It's like a launch debut, but
I agree.
I agree. I think it's a PC game though.
Yeah, it has an 8 out of 10 on Steam. GameSpot gave it a 7 out of 10. Well, Can
you all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I hear you.
Dude, it just locked up. Like, it was fine. All of a sudden, like, the Google Hangouts just completely froze.
Yeah, there's something going on with the Hangouts, folks. So in case you're wondering what was going on, it's just it's been happening throughout the week. Some people are noticing it, some aren't.
Yeah, okay. Runbow is a platform racing game. It was made for the Wii U and PC, and now it's coming to the Xbox One. Yay, right?
Well, let's talk about something for a minute, because this is a misconception. I think we touched on it on Xbox Nation about 6 months ago, and I was the first one to bring it up on that show, but it's been on a lot of people's minds. I mean, do you guys feel like this is something free and that we should just you take the good with the bad and you move on with your life? Or do you think it's something where you say, you know, why don't you take on a month where there's 4 nonsense games? Why don't you just give us one good Xbox game and one good 360 game and put a little more money towards one of the other licensing rights, you know? Because ultimately, listen, guys, nothing in life is free. We all know that, right? Nothing. So we're paying for this in one way, shape, form, or another. So myself personally, when I see this, do I get upset? Absolutely not. Do I lose sleep? Absolutely not. Do I think I need to write Phil and Larry? No, I don't think they need to be bothered in the slightest. But if somebody comes up to me and goes, hey, Mooks, did you see what these games are? You can feel free to, I'm going to end up sending you a little shit emoji and a thumbs down.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to put it. It's just it doesn't feel good at the end of the day.
I did the GIF from the Chappelle show where he's like, I wish I had 4 hands so I could give those titties 4 thumbs down, right? Yep. Like I did that one to these games because if I had 4 hands, I would give these games 4 thumbs down. But at the end of the day, I don't even care. You know what I mean? It's like these games, for the most part, aren't games that I really hop into because I'm a type of gamer that buys everything that I want pretty much right when it comes out. So Kane and Lynch 2, Lego Pirates, those are 360 games. I, of course, have them already. Runbow, Grow Up, I have no real need to probably take up half a gig or something, so I'm not really worried about it. Doesn't really bother me one way or the other. I just wish that they would be a little bit more consistent with what they do, because they seem to offer a AAA every month, and then all of a sudden they'll pull some kind of bullshit like this, and it just bugs me a little bit, not from the perspective that that it's such a bad month, but it's just that they're not consistent. I think the inconsistency bugs me more than anything. That being said, hey, I'm not going to sit there and bitch and complain nonstop. I'm not going to do like 10 videos about it. Like, man, you remember that one month? Because they've been pretty consistently okay to good.
Agreed.
This year,
open up with the topic.
He's still kind of cutting in and out a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah, Rand, your internet might be bad.
At the end of the day, these games aren't the best. They're dog shit. Let's just call it what it is. But that's all opinion and perspective as well. So they've been pretty consistent in the past.
Right.
I'm not excited for these. I could care less. I probably won't download them. But I get where people are kind of frustrated. But at the same time, they are. You're not paying money for them like in the traditional sense, right? They're adding value to gold, even though you're paying the same amount you've always paid. It's something you can't really get too pissed about, So you kind of sound like an entitled fuck when you do that. But I completely understand where some people do come from.
Yeah, I understand that. Go ahead.
I'm not dropping my pants over these games, but I mean, they're
sure
not
you are,
bad.
dude.
My pants are always on. What are you talking about? But it is what it is, right? Like some months are fantastic. They're better than we could have hoped for. And then there's months that kind of drop the ball. I'm actually surprised the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean game did not come out like a month or so ago, to be honest with you, because, you know, to kind of coincide with the movie, maybe it would be like easier to go over, I suppose you could say. But I mean, and Kane and Lynch is not bad. I think it was one of the games that got slammed a little harder last gen than it should have. It's not great, mind you, either, but you know, I thought it wasn't bad. Like overall, again, one man's trash is another man's treasure. I'm sure that while we're all bickering and bitching, there's probably at least a dozen people out there going, yeah.
Runbow.
I think those people haven't like surpassed 6th grade yet, but that's true. I mean, like, you know, I mean, like,
oh shit.
And listen, you know, I mean, let's put it this way though. And Dealer makes a good point, and he's definitely entitled to that point. I think he's on to something. My only contradiction to that is that we are paying for these games. The fact that they're making $3 billion estimated on Xbox Live, so they figured, hey, you know, every other month or every 2 months, we'll have a stinker, and there's very little money. Like, what do they pay? Probably pay like $1, $2, maybe up to $5 on licensing fees every time someone hits download. And there's some people that just grab these games for free regardless. Because I think, you know, Randy told me this many times. I know many people that do it. You can go on Xbox.com, go into your account, click on it. It'll go into your ready to install, but it doesn't actually install on your console. So you can always have them there because, of course, we're not going to get rid of Xbox Live. So, I mean, the thing about it is that if they've been making $3 billion, you're right. We didn't get anything before. We got nothing. And now we get these. But the thing is, though, now we know. That's unfortunate. See, if they never gave this out, if Sony or Microsoft never did this, we wouldn't know any better. We really wouldn't. Yeah. But now that we know that we can get games, the question is here's what I'm saying, though. I'm with Dealer. All I'm saying is don't give me 4 shitty ones. Can I get 2 mediocres?
like a month where there were like 3 pretty good ones. Maybe take one of those.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like there's months we've had so like 3. You're like 3 are really good. Save one if they know next month is gonna blow. So give us one. You know, it's spread it out. Spread out the love, guys. It's just easy math.
Like that month we had Rise. Wasn't that like a really good month? There was like 3 or 4 really good titles in there.
Yeah, and even now we have a decent one with the Watch Dogs, and even though that's not like a fantastic new game or anything, at least that's a AAA. And if somebody was just new to the Xbox One, hey, that's something that's kind of cool but yet boring to play. What's up, Brand? Did you get your stuff fixed?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it sounds okay. You might have to, maybe your internet or something needs reset, or your computer needs reset. I don't know. That's kind of what I want to ask,
Randy, while you're able to talk. Let's ask Rand, have you gotten any of the games that are games with gold? Have you beat any for the 1,000?
Lego Pirates I played back on the 360. It is a short Lego game there, so that is it's actually one of the better ones too, to be honest with you. So
I've heard that.
You're looking for that one. That one's short. It's kind of cool. What was the other one? Kane and Lynch 2?
Kane and Lynch 2, yeah.
I have the completion of that. I mean, it's okay. I was never really a big fan of Kane and Lynch. I prefer Hitman from IO Interactive. I mean, it's a good distraction for a few hours. It does have co-op. Grow Up I own, but I haven't played. I hear it's actually a pretty decent game, to be honest with you. And I have no idea about Rumbo. But it's like you said, Mooch, and now we get...
yeah. Your internet sounds terrible, Rand. I don't know what
your internet, bro.
Yeah. Reboot it. Maybe reboot your computer too. Yeah.
30 seconds.
I've never heard Rand sound bad, to be honest with you.
No, Rand's always been pretty darn crisp.
What about you, K Mega? Are you sending these games to Hades or what?
Man, okay. To the congregation, I just want to say these games I have no care for whatsoever. But except for Kane and Lynch, I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot because I've never played Kane and Lynch. But for the rest of them, all I have to say is...
You know what's funny? As K Mega does this, I can see all day in the chat rolling his eyes because these guys go back and forth.
Yes.
These guys go back and forth good.
Yeah, so let them have it. Anyway, okay. This is what I think this is because the Xbox sale is coming up here pretty soon, and I think that they want people to gravitate to those games instead of bringing a whole bunch of big great titles for free games. They want people to spend money on them. So if you can get them at a sale, and then they can just give you some games that nobody really cares about for games for gold, I think it's a win for them. like I said, Kane and Lynch is the only game that I'm really concerned about. Now I will download the Legos game, and that's it. The other ones I'm just going to pass on it. I mean, to me, the service is for the multiplayer or playing games and everything else. So I'll just take it. I'll just take an L because I mean, if you look at it compared to what PlayStation does for PSN most of the time is not worthy. Now, this I think it's this month, I think it's this month when they got Kills, the Killing Floor 2, and they have another game. Life is Strange. Yeah, that's a good deal. But for the most part, for what I've been seeing for the PlayStation, it's been garbage. And so, hey, Xbox can have some garbage moments every once in a while.
I think that PS Plus and crap. I'm sure you were going to lead into this, but PS Plus really outdid themselves for even July.
Did. If you guys didn't catch it, the PlayStation Plus for July is Until Dawn, which is probably my favorite PlayStation 4 game, and Telltale Games Game of Thrones, which is
that's in July.
Yeah, that's July.
That's great.
You know what K Megan's like? Woo!
Hey, Until Dawn is fire. I love Until Dawn.
Yeah. Oh man, that's probably now I have it digitally instead of just physically as well, which will be cool. And then Game of Thrones, of course, like I said, that's an easy platinum. Depending on if you're a gamer. I have not really seen Game of Thrones, but I still enjoyed the Game of Thrones. Telltale Games for the simple fact that it's that same formula or whatever. You know what I mean? It's easy. You get 1,000 gamer score or whatever. It's a compelling story. They always have really good stories and things like that. I just thought it was interesting that they've had back-to-back pretty good months on PlayStation Plus, and Microsoft kind of shit the bed this month or next month. But at the end of the day, that's a pretty good lineup. Dealer, have you played Until Dawn?
No, I haven't. Only PS4 games I bought so far are Uncharted 4, which I didn't even play that on the PS4 I have now, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh man, you got all the good games, bro.
I know, right? I literally do.
I've got an interesting question to throw at you guys because it just kind of dawned on me. Put it this way. Say if you've been downloading each one of the free games on Xbox Live Gold since they came out, how many games would you estimate that is right now? You probably got about 100 games in your collection free?
Probably, if not more. Okay. I mean, yeah.
So do you think that it's possible that now that Game Pass is out, that sometimes Microsoft may look at Game Pass and think, well, if we start throwing too many of the AAA, the big games out on the free Live Gold, it may persuade people not to pick up Game Pass? Because, for example, if there's one kid, say he's buying Game Pass because he wants to play Halo 5, theoretically speaking, and all of a sudden you get that game free, he's just like, well, why do I really want to go spend $10 when the 2 or 3 games that I really look forward to are now on free with gold? Do you think that might be at least a slight possibility?
I do. That makes perfect sense. It just goes right in with what I was saying with the sale. I mean, you have a big sale coming down, plus the Gamers Pass. This might be the turning tide to where those for how we was getting spoiled, every once in a while. I think that's going to start slowing down, and we're going to start getting more of those games like Earthlock, games that's maybe been on the PC or somewhere else, and they'll be exclusive to the Xbox And so I look, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. They're free games. It's to get all pissy in because we don't get major AAA games all the time. It's
right. No, I mean that's a true thing. But to answer Noof on his question, is anything's possible. I don't really think that's one is going to really impact the other. It's easy to just hear that and go, yeah, that's probably the reason, or that may be the reason moving forward. But I personally don't think that's a problem, because if you look at the games that are in Game Pass, I mean, they're already games that we've already gotten either on for free monthly, or they're games that people looked at that first initial group of games and people were kind of like, The idea behind Game Pass, you got to remember. Do you remember when Netflix? Everyone forgets. Now everyone's like, Netflix is a huge thing. Netflix, when it first came out, was just streaming What About Bob and something else that Bill Murray was ashamed of. It wasn't a lot of stuff.
Hey, What About Bob was great.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though. But I mean, it was basically built around the whole disc system, the DVD. So the streaming service wasn't all that great. Now Netflix is a juggernaut, right? It's got its own broadcasting. It's got its own studios. It's doing everything you want it to be. Now, maybe, but that takes time. This isn't going to happen with Game Pass in 3 months. So my point being is that I think Noof's concern, even if it becomes a concern, is like 18 months from now. And by then, you're going to get another, like, eventually you're going to start to get into games that are just blah, but there's still so many games that came out the first 2 years that they could offer. I don't think the two, and plus it's also, Crap did a video on it the other day. The idea behind Game Pass is to come out and say, hey, you the buyer doesn't have a whole lot of money. You bought the console and you want to have a plethora of games day one. For $9.99, you go home with 100 games. You know, so even if they picked up 2 or 3 free ones last month, they have 97 others to pick from on Game Pass. So I don't think the two, you know, would contradict each other.
And people forget, Mooch, too. That's primarily, you know, kids. Right. They don't care. They're not jaded. They don't care how a game really looks or even plays. They know that there's a bear with a fucking bird on its back, and it's called Banjo-Kazooie, and they want to play it, you know? And I did see the new trailer for the games coming this month, like F1, I think it's 2016.
Yeah.
That game actually piqued my interest. I was like, oh, I might do the trial for that. You know, it depends. You like Mad Max? You never played it? You interested? That's worth $10 a month by itself to beat that.
Halo 5 is on there, folks.
Halo 5,
yeah,
Gears.
Like Gears Ultimate. These are really good games. The thing is, right, I did the trial dealer, right? I'm like, okay, what the hell? I'll try it. And then, you know, the trial went up and I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? It's $10 a month, whatever. You know, and it's cool because they added 7 new games. But the interesting thing is I'm downloading some games on there that kind of maybe I hadn't played before, piqued my interest, play them a little bit, get some achievements. Like I was playing Blood Bowl 2, I think. Interesting kind of game, easy to get some achievements off that. Was a game that I had thought about picking up before but wasn't sure. So I got to try it out for an extended period of time. I thought it was pretty good, and I got, like I said, I get some achievements on it, and that's pretty freaking cool.
And you get discounts if you decide you want to take it home, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's awesome. Again, also, like you were saying, Mad Max is a game that is vastly underrated, and that's on there, and that game is absolutely amazing. How's your stuff sounding, Rand? I know you hop back in.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You just let me know.
Crystal.
I restarted my internet, restarted my computer. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah, you're Rand Al Thor again, the man with the million, not the bot. You sounded like Crapgamer sounds most of the time, like. So what did you think about the PlayStation Plus games next month, Rand? Until Dawn and Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is a pile of horse shit, dog shit. Don't bother. It's one of Telltale's worst games they ever made.
Oh man, come on, man! What the hell, man? I beat that guy. I loved it. Now I let everybody die. That was the sad thing about it. But
I let everybody die.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, you know, it's just a Telltale game. You got choices. But
I wanted to respond with send Game of Thrones to Hades, but last time I said that, K-Mega got really upset with me.
You were sending lots to Hades.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know, though, man. You know, I'm sorry.
Sent it all to Hades.
It's okay. It's okay. But I like the game. I thought it was cool. But I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. So the tie-in and all of those things, I thought they were really cool.
I'll be honest with you, Kay. I'll defend you on that. I respect Rand's opinion, and I bet you Rand's probably 100% correct. But I'm probably going to download it and play it because I do love Game of Thrones. So I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Of course, you'll get more from it if you've watched the show.
Yeah. True. Like I said, I haven't watched the show, but I kind of still enjoyed it, and it's an easy 1,000 gamer score or platinum.
You know, Crap, we know you're a gamer and all, but for God's sakes, can you catch up on some pop culture? You don't watch Walking Dead. You don't watch Game of Thrones.
Crap, what's wrong with you, dude?
He's still watching old seasons of The Simpsons.
I am. Hey, whenever somebody sees me on Media Player, it's usually like some season of The Simpsons that's on. So that's 100% accurate.
They gave gamer score for Media Player, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Number one, man. You and Tim. Well, Tim's on TV a lot. You and Tim.
Yeah, you know what though? Here's the thing. Like I game a lot on the weekends. And like Friday nights and stuff like that's when I game a lot because I work, you know, and it's tough, man. Like sometimes you're tired or whatever. Right now I'm battling the gout, so I have that in my finger, you know. So it's hard to hold the controller, and that's not a joke either. That's 100% accurate. Plus I appreciate it.
But Crap, now with the Elite controller, you can actually move that finger to the back panel.
Yeah. I know. So it is a little bit easier, but it's just kind of
on the box. The Elite controller. You got gout.
You got gout. Here you go.
You got out, we got you covered.
Exactly. So yeah, I haven't been, just because I've been in a lot of pain more so than anything. But actually, I've been using some of the remedies that some of the people were giving out, and it's easing up a lot. So I definitely appreciate that. I want to jump into something because I want to hear the panel's inputs on this. IGN with their 4K asset stuff. I did a video about this, but it really pissed me off because you see the guy Damon. He's wearing a PlayStation Greatness Awaits shirt, and then he's telling everybody, you're forced to download this update. You have to download the 4K update. 100 gigs. Yeah. 100 gigs.
100? I thought it was a million.
No, 100 gigs. You're forced.
A million.
Even if you don't even have a 4K TV, you're forced. Yeah. It forces you.
Here's the thing that people need to understand. That's the price you're going to pay for significantly enhancing your experience and getting those 4K assets for the 4K frame buffer and all this shit, right? But what people don't understand is that you're still going to benefit even if you've got an X. Obviously, you bought into a 4K console. That's obvious. You should expect to do these things. And for one, they have confirmed that your externals will all work. Somebody was worried about, I think it was Hellhammer, he was worried about the bandwidth over HDMI 3.0. No, that still works. It works perfectly fine. You can take one and plug it into another. It will work. What people need to understand is that when you're playing on a 1080p display, you're getting more than just resolution here. So you'll have to download this patch, and that will give you the enhanced tessellation, all these other effects that, like Forza 7. I think Turn 10 mentioned it's running in a high ultra settings, basically. You're getting the PC version there. And while that game will run at 1080p super sampled, meaning it's absolutely giving you the most crisp image you can get from a 1080p display, you're getting ultra settings in addition. So you need that patch regardless. And you are also future-proofing. And it's worth noting that a 4K texture looks better on a 1080p screen than a 1080p texture does.
like here's the thing. I'm not even a tech guy per se or anything like that, but these guys, nobody at IGN knows what super sampling is. They haven't been listening to what Microsoft has been saying. You can't go to google.com and type in.
And super sampling is the least of it. If you're listening to developers, they're talking about volumetric clouds ripped right out of the PC version.
This was IGN. This was IGN's second attempt, maybe third attempt at trying to hit lightning in a bottle again, with where they did their headline back in 2013 and 2014 with the whole you know DRM, and you can't swap games and you can't use old games, that whole thing. This was their attempt again to try and scare the consumer. Listen to what they say when they use the word forced, and the way he said forced. When you do something like that, right? Isn't that crazy? Forced.
That's what
he's saying. What he's doing is he's trying to fear the consumer into making a purchase into something that they may be unaware of what that actually means. So somebody else who doesn't know what we know would say, "Oh my God, I don't want my whole Xbox to be absorbing all these textures. I don't even have a 4K TV." Listen, Microsoft was very smart to try and play the offensive when they took the stage at E3, when they had, and pardon me for not remembering that senior engineer's name that came out, the guy who's notorious known as It's a Monster. It's a monster. Yeah, that gentleman, when he came, he wanted everyone to know because he knew IGN was going to hop on it right away. He's like, listen, Kareem, he said, he goes, and if you don't want a 4K TV and you want this console, we'll make your 1080p game look 1080p-er. Okay? He said that. So basically, he was trying to cover his bases. So how does IGN work around this when Microsoft kind of did the belt and suspenders and covered themselves? What they do is they go around it and they're like, you have to have these 4K assets and textures downloaded on your console when you are not using them, and they force you. Nobody in this country right now wants to be forced. If somebody said, I am forcing you to take this $100, people would be like, back off.
He said back off.
Back the hell up. I'll take it, but don't force me. All right? So my whole point is nobody right now wants to be forced into anything. So and I'll end my rant with this. This is the first time I can honestly say since the beginning of this generation that this headline has done more damage to IGN than good. Thank you.
It's crazy that they're forcing you to get the graphics that you're paying for the console for. Hey, you better download these goddamn assets.
Yeah, that was the thing that I put on Twitter. I was kind of like, when did free become forced? Like, that was the thing that just threw me off. Like, they actually were just coming out and just making it seem like Mooch said, that they just wanted you to feel intimidated by Microsoft because they're this big corporation that just wants to force their way or their will upon you. And how dare they? And How much does that charge? Are they gonna make me? Are they gonna add another $10 to Xbox Live? Or is games gonna go up? Oh no, it's free. Well, what the hell? What's the problem?
It's like because when you got a Pro and it gets a patch for the Pro-enabled version, it has to accept that patch. You don't have a choice, right? If you're online, it has to take that patch. They force you to download the Pro patch to get a better version. That's all this is, but you just have the advantage of more RAM or in the textures and shit. And it's important to reiterate that you're getting higher settings. It's not going to be just 4K downloads that you're getting. So even if you're on 1080p screen, you're going to see better graphics.
Well, it's hard for IGN to realize this for the main reason that most of them that work there don't have 4K TVs. They
really don't, man.
I know. It's like
living in a box outside the office. It's crazy.
Yeah. Did somebody posted something with Ryan McCaffrey and that team? I think it was a
Predator.
Predator sent it out. Shout out to Predator.
Yeah, and it was two of them that said that they already had 4K televisions, and then so Ryan McCaffrey came out and said, "Well, I'm going to make an investment on a vehicle,
on a car,
on a car, 4K. Yeah. You know what I would have said to him? Wait, you live in San Francisco. Have you ever had the trolleys that run back and forth to work? What the hell's? Listen, first of all, forget the trolleys, forget the nonsense. Let's talk about that segment for a second. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Destin Legary, Alana was there. Alana, get a hold of me. Yeah. But here's my whole thing. All right, we'll do a podcast. No, what I was going to say was this. What I want to say is Destin Legary, honestly, was putting Ryan McCaffrey in his place because he looked at him and he was like, "Bro, they're $269." You know what I mean? They're $269.
He's like, "Well, I mean, I'm getting a car, so
I'm getting a car. I mean, it's going to be like a DeLorean.
I'm not even paying my rent till I get my car."
Get out of here.
No, he's saving up for that. What's those fucking cars he's always talking about?
The DeLorean. Teslas. Yeah, it's like 2 favorite cars.
DeLorean.
He does. He loves the DeLorean.
I know, but
sell your turd of a DeLorean, and get your stupid Tesla and spend what's $1,000 when you're buying a new fucking car?
But wait, wait, listen, it's funny because a lot of people may misconstrue what we're saying in the chat. Listen, it's not that we're trying to say that $1,000 is chump change. We understand, okay? We get what the audience may be thinking. But you do have to remember this. Take everything in contrast. This is his profession. This is what he does. I think a couple people on the podcast this weekend used examples. My example was you're not in construction and you don't have a DeWalt drill at home. Okay? You can't say this is what you do. You know what I mean? Go to anybody who's a chef, a 5-star chef, and then go to their house. They don't have an electric panel stove. Okay? At home, they don't. I'm sure if they got to run that gas from their neighbor's house.
But these people are telling you on their podcasts, who is the Xbox One X for? Because they don't personally have a 4K TV or understand that they're getting better graphics, not just 4K resolution. And that's when it becomes a problem. When you're in the industry and you don't understand who the console's for, why'd you buy an Xbox One? For better graphics, to be more immersed. This does it better than most consoles combined.
Agreed.
Dealer, that's the problem I have with IGN and Podcast Unlocked is, and I mentioned this today during the show I did solo, which is my second podcast today, so I'm a little bit tired. But when I tune into podcasts or I watch YouTube videos, I'm looking for 2 things. One is to learn something I didn't know, right? A new set of knowledge or whatever. Or 2, to be entertained. And if I can get both, then that's awesome, right? I feel like I get neither listening to any of those guys. They're not knowledgeable more than I am about Xbox or anything in the video game industry. And to be quite frank, they aren't entertaining.
Nope.
So I feel they're not worth listening to.
It's bad because they don't know things that were confirmed for 6 months,
Exactly. I think if and I've talked to Ryan McCaffrey, he's a nice dude. But like when I listen to him, I feel like he's just a random guy who doesn't know much. He's not like someone who's in the trenches of the video game industry for the 20 years who has this breadth of knowledge like someone like Jeff Gertzman has at Giant Bomb. He just comes across as like a clueless casual. Right? Like, even if you don't feel the Xbox One X is for you, and there's a lot of people out there that don't, you work at IGN, you should know exactly who it's targeted to, even if it's not targeted at you. So the fact that they're kind of questioning, who's this for? Who's this for? I don't know. Did you pay attention to the E3 conference Microsoft gave 2 weeks ago where they literally told you who it was for? Or are you just upset that you don't have the money to buy a 4K TV and that you're not part of that crowd anymore. So
Damn.
that's why I don't give any of those big websites any credence. I don't listen to any of their podcasts. The only one I listen to from the major media is Giant Bomb, because I find the Giant Bomb guys to be incredibly knowledgeable and incredibly entertaining.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make Rand completely fall off his chair when I say this, but I actually recently, in the past maybe a few months, have subscribed to Giant Bomb. And I will say this much. I don't agree with everything, but I will say I've enjoyed their roundtable and conversation more than most of the people that are out there in the big media. So I will say Giant Bomb's done a bit of a 180 in the sense of from the launch of the Xbox One to where we sit today. And I think they are a more well-rounded, if you're going to say, bigger media. I don't think Rand, I don't think they consider themselves big media. I think they consider themselves a double A in the media, the gaming media world.
Yeah. And like taking it to like Podcast Beyond, Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, those guys were entertaining, even if you didn't really agree with them. And Colin Moriarty was knowledgeable. So that's why I would listen to them. That's why I listen to Kind of Funny. They lost the knowledgeable part because Colin Moriarty left.
They picked up a hot redhead part, though.
Well, yeah, but I don't particularly find them entertaining anymore, so I don't watch them,
Right.
Personally, I just don't get it. I mean, these guys work for one of the biggest video game media outlets there is, and you got 5 and 6 people, mind you, on a panel, and like virtually none of them have a 4K TV. Okay, fine, you got to save up and get the TV. They're coming down in price, but I mean, like, what are you also playing this shit on at your workplace? Because if I'm the guy running IGN, I would make sure that everybody that is reviewing technology and wants to sound knowledgeable about the games industry is working and using the best that money can buy. I mean, so you can accurately do a decent comparison, right? That sort of thing. Like, so that I don't get. Like, and these headlines, like that one is just so nonsensical. It makes no sense why they'd even do it. And like you said, the guy's standing there preaching it the whole time with the PlayStation shirt on, which just makes him look even dumber. Like it just terrible. I mean, honestly, I think these guys are all in the fucking men's washroom fucking bobbing for apples, if you know what I mean.
That's a brave assumption there.
Yes, I think we all do know what you mean, Noof, and this is quite possibly the case. This is what I would say, right? We all know that the games media as a whole,
apple bobbing motherfuckers.
Yes, IGN, we bob for apples in the bathroom, if you know what we mean. Look, here's the thing regarding these sites, right? These sites are so old and people aren't using them much anymore, right? That's why they're forced to use the kind of clickbait stuff that they're using now. Why? Because people like us exist, and not just us. I mean, I don't take all the credit. There's a lot of good people out there in the world of YouTube that do a much better job at doing the news. Like, there's some stuff like Dealer. We do videos on the new updates on the Xbox One. I have yet to see one about Mikey Barr's tweet about the dashboard being different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
like the big fall update. Yeah, where both consoles are actually going to change. Yeah.
Like, cool. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with these people, right? They won't do something about that, but the minute something comes up about resolution or who the fuck is this box for, they're all complaining, and nobody was complaining about the PS4 Pro. Not a goddamn person said, nope, who's this for?
Yeah, so if all these people don't have 4K TVs, what are they using their pros on?
Well, that was the point that I was going to make. See, I need to just come back and just interrupt motherfuckers like I used to.
Yeah.
What's going to make us like
interrupt us, bitch? Come on.
I'm the kindler, gentler K-Man.
You gotta jump in, bro.
No.
Gentler.
I'm actually trying to play this Ratchet and Clank. This is a cute little game. That's it. But anyway.
It's cute.
It's cute, man. It ain't all that where everybody was saying this is the best game fucking ever. Life is gonna change. It's a megaton. Oh yeah.
Oh, man, that's a shot at me.
Yeah, right? That is a shot at you. Great.
Hey, there's not a lot of great games on PS4, man. What do you want me to say?
Well, no. It's a cool game. No, it's playable. Yeah. I'm enjoying the controls. It's nice and all that. But anyway, that was the whole point. Like, okay, the Pro has been bringing up this whole 4K narrative ever since they, Cerny came out there and started talking about 6 teraflops or 8 teraflops or whatever the hell, and they didn't say anything about it. We still haven't seen anything from Digital Foundry on any of these games that was out there on the PlayStation stage. I'm trying to figure out why people that that's out there that's been defending Digital Foundry and the big media outlets. Why are you not questioning this? This is blank.
Well, they had Spider-Man. They had Spider-Man on their channel.
Yeah.
They did. They finally brought up Spider-Man.
Yeah, they had Spider-Man
a while ago.
And then but not only did they have Spider-Man, but they really damage controlled it and called it simulated 4K.
Yeah.
And really
they also had Gran Turismo Sport on there as well.
Yeah, but they've had Gran Turismo Sport on there for a while.
Yeah, I've seen Gran Turismo.
Yeah. And they damage controlled the shit out of that too.
Yes,
this guy looks like fucking trash, huh?
Yeah. But the thing of it is that look,
generation.
If you're going to talk about, if you're not going to talk bad about the Pro, then you should just talk positive about the X. You know what I'm saying? You should just talk. I mean, you don't really hear too much negative about the Switch either. If they're bringing anything to the light that's negative about Xbox, they will throw it at you. But from Nintendo, they really don't do it. From PlayStation, they don't really do it. So it's crazy. I don't understand it. And why the people out here in the gaming world don't see this and don't raise up arms, except for some of us. You know, that's why I've been saying that journalism, the gaming journalism, to me is dead. I don't read their articles.
No,
I stay away from that. The people that I listen to the most are, content creators, man. Because
there's a reason. There's a reason that Adam Sessler is not in the gaming journalism business anymore. It's because when he saw what was going on, he bounced, and he bounced in a hurry. And if you listen, he'll never come out and say that because he's got so many friends and he's got so many ties. And I don't blame him for not coming out and saying it. But there's a lot of rumors. You can read about it. The reason when he left Rev 3 Games is he was going to give some sort of an opinion piece on something, and I believe Sony kiboshed part of what he wrote or what he was going to say, or he couldn't show something. And when he goes, why can't I show it? And whatever they said to him, that's the part that's all fuzzy. He was like, and I'm out because now I can't do my job. And
I remember that they wouldn't send him a review console or anything.
Well, what happened? What happened was, for those that don't know, early on in the PS4 life, Adam Sessler was reviewing PS4 games, and they wouldn't send him a console to review, and they also wouldn't let him use footage of Infamous Second Son. They would only let him use B-roll footage, which is footage that they sent him. So he had to use that, and he was very kind of ticked off about it. And he kind of made that known public. And he also got a lot of hate because he gave Forza Motorsport 5 a 5 out of 5. And people flipped out on the guy. You have to remember this was still in 2013. Right. And woo, boy, you give an Xbox game a 5 out of 5. Yeah. You best hit that bunker because people are going to come after you just because of the console, right? Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. And basically, there's a guy that kind of got ran off, got disgusted with how games journalism is, and left. And now there's very little back. And the fact that Rand earlier basically stated it fact of the matter that he doesn't watch these things, and more people aren't. Like Colt Eastwood did a video about unsubscribing to these channels, and for the most part I am. The sad part is I have a lot of fans that'll go, crap, have you seen this bullshit? And they'll link me to something, and then I'll watch it.
You got to stay in the know, you know?
Yeah,
unfortunately, some of it's from the know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hey, I've been part of the know a couple of times, and so is Mooch.
Yeah. The crappy gamer.
Was great.
Yeah, no, I was the guy that canceled the pre-order. That was when I made the know, and they were kind of making fun of me for it.
I can't even remember why I made it, but I got into a discussion with the what's his name? Adam. His name's Adam too, I think, and I just can't remember what the argument was. But back and forth, and still follow him because he said during the show he actually looked at his phone. He's like, I'm wondering if this Mooch guy still following me. He goes, he is still following me. That's pretty good. He goes, I thought after argument, wouldn't even follow me anymore. So I don't even remember why we got on there, but yeah, you do got to keep up with the times, and it is what it is. But you know, these guys here right now, and that's a shame, guys. This is a shame. This is not a good thing. I'm actually kind of bummed. This is somebody who grew up with Nintendo Power all the way up until this ridiculousness that took place towards probably the beginning end of 2012, where it became very, very blatant. But I used to look forward to, the days, even when Greg Miller used to do the PlayStation reviews of games, I was very much interested in what he had to say. I still follow Kind of Funny, and Rand did kind of say it perfect. Colin was the brains, and Greg was the entertainment. You know what I mean? The jester, if you will. And now you lost the brains part of it, and now it's just the jester, and the problem is that it's not the same. Do I still watch Kind of? And let me tell you something. Anybody who's followed Kind of Funny games, has anybody noticed what I've noticed? they've been a little bit more politically correct on their gaming. Notice that he got rid of PS I Love You XOXO, and now they do gaming daily. And
by the way, check out Mooch and Crap doing Xbox One XOXO.
That's correct.
Exclusively on Patreon. Thank you.
Shameless plug.
Yes.
That's our Netflix. Subscribe to us, and you get XOXO. But nonetheless, they have changed their curriculum. They have some Xbox stuff now. They have a Nintendo dedicated site, and of course, then Greg Miller takes on the PlayStation stuff. But my point being is that they realize that they're there for business. They're there to make money. Why would you leave 33 to 40% of the crowd out to dry like the rest of these assholes?
Yeah.
And Greg Miller's smart enough to say, listen, before we completely and utterly get capped in only one category, keep this a gaming platform. And he went off today. He went off on trophies and how he thinks the trophy system's kind of broken because of the games that Sony allows on there. We were talking about it off air. They've got certain games now for 99 cents you can platinum. And that's not fair, especially somebody like Rand. Now, Rand isn't doing the trophy hunting thing, but that if I was Rand and there was achievements, if there was 50 games out there for 99 cents each that I can go out and buy and get my 1,000 gamer score, they're all dedicated within 5 minutes or less, like Sony has. And I don't know if they have 50, but I think Greg Miller was saying there's a good number. I think there's at least 10 now, and there's more coming because it's a business. Because now people can just put a game out, give you a platinum trophy. And what he's saying is Sony shouldn't allow these to have trophies. You can buy the game for 99 cents and play it in 5-10 minutes, all you want, but no trophy is earned. Because you have people that actually dedicate time and effort, and Rand will speak more on this. If I could get 50,000 points for $50, like there's people who would do that.
Hey, who the hell is this guy to dictate that shit, though, in my opinion? You know what I mean? One of the big things about, like, to say that Sony shouldn't allow that, like, you know, I bought the Telltale bundle from Xbox a couple years ago. All of those games were easy 1,000. Does that make it any less earned?
No, but
Crap, you're missing the point. When I say 5 minutes, this isn't a mooches. I'm not trying to be funny. It's less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The game actually, it's in the description. You will get a platinum in less than 5 minutes.
I got to find me some of these games, man.
It's literally a selling point.
Well, see, that's the point right there that makes this whole achievement trophy talk disgusting.
We're not real gamers. K Mega, because
K Mega, you a fraud. Let me tell you what L Mega, or as I say, Legendary Mega, would tell all the gamers out there. Until Phil Spencer and Yoshida and whoever is that's running Nintendo now, until they give me my damn achievements from when I start playing Atari, when I was playing on the first NES, on the Sega, on the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, until I get those achievements, then don't talk to me about fucking achievements. You know what I'm saying? To me, I've gotten more into it because ever since those diamonds popped up, I like those little things. I like the way it sounds and all of that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just here to play a game. You know what I'm saying? And I want to enjoy the game. I get more involved into playing multiplayer games with friends and talking trash and just doing that. And when I get an achievement, yeah, it feels like you accomplished something, but it's not the all end all, because of stuff like that corrupts what people like Randolph Thor has done. That's a crazy achievement to hit 1 million gamer score, and to want to buy your way to, just earn a little money in your pocket. That's degrading. And they need to stop that. I do agree. They need to stop that shit. That's foul.
Well, hey, guys, I just got to say that normally I'm less than 5 minutes with the wife, and she never, ever gave me any platinum trophies. I'm getting screwed.
Well, there he is.
That might have been the neighborhood dog or something.
We've got over 750 watching. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. Yeah, we got a good crowd on here tonight, and we got
hit that like button.
Yeah, well, I would appreciate that, man. Let's get it rolling.
Microsoft has gone out of their way to protect the integrity of the gamer score and achievement system in ways that Sony never did. Like, Microsoft reset people for cheating. Sony never did. Sony doesn't even acknowledge anybody. I'm not surprised that a business has developed around getting easy platinums for for cheap. Microsoft, they're more willing to do that. Like, there are some games that you can get $10, $20, like Gone Home, for example. Gone Home is a game you can get the 1,000 gamer score in 15 minutes. Thing is, it's $20. There's not a game that you can buy on Xbox that's $1 that'll get you 1,000 in 2 minutes. They also open up that it's kind of like the Xbox ID thing, but they're like it'll be on it's kind of like the 360 store, because you had like the Xbox Live Arcade, but then you had the other one where there was like 5,000 trash games in there that were really cheap. Microsoft's doing that again because they basically want to protect that. They don't want the gamer score and achievements to be meaningless, so they don't want a business to pop up around that.
So are they reducing the amount of gamer score you get from those, like 200, like the old arcade games? Or
no,
what?
they just won't have achievements.
Oh,
period. But I mean, if you want to get them, they're like $2. So they'll protect it. I know, there a lot of people aren't really happy with the fact that the games now have 1,000 that used to have 200, but it is what it is. It is a little bit devalued. But crap, I don't know. There's this interesting topic going on. I saw on one of my favorite websites, NeoGAF. Are you following this?
I am following it, but I am not talking about this on the air.
Okay, I was just wondering because whoa. Whoa, dude.
Yeah, if you guys want,
I'm super curious.
Yeah, if you just go to Tim Dog's Twitter, he'll talk about it. But we are not talking about that shit on the air. That is really, really gross stuff.
That toxic shit off the air.
Yeah, it's terrible stuff. Yeah. So I also want to talk a little bit about Albert Penello and his calls of Xbox One X being future proof. This was something that I talked about a little bit in the video today. That is a word that Sony used to throw out with the PS3, how future-proof it was and things like this. But I'd like the idea that Albert Penello said that, the whole idea behind giving the extra gig of RAM to developers now because they asked for it, because they're like, in a couple of years, this is really going to be helpful. And I also, I'm not a big fan of Digital Foundry. Or actually, you know what? It's weird. Like Ledbetter, I have this kind of weird respect for. Yeah. But the other guy, I don't like that guy. I don't like Tom.
Dave and Tom. No.
Yeah, I don't like those guys. But Ledbetter, I kind of have respect for. And he was doing a video not too long ago, and he was talking about if Xbox One X is $500, what would a next generation console be? And he said, this is exactly what he said. He's like, so even if a PS5 or something were going to come out in the next 2 years, it wouldn't be a significant upgrade to the Xbox One X to begin with, because tech has kind of leveled off and things like that. And he gave a lot of good reasoning and stuff, and I thought it was a very good video. He's pretty much the only person I can stand on that site, but I think this plays into the fact that, and Mooch, you've said this a lot of times as well, the Xbox One X is probably going to be around for at least a few years, maybe 4.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's going to be longevity with this console crap. And I mean, I don't personally think, and I apologize, I was reading actually, I don't know what your headline is, but I think that what are you asking me about the longevity? I was reading.
Yeah,
you told me to go to Tim Dog's thing, and I'm reading. But
yeah.
So go ahead. What were you asking me about the longevity of the console?
I was just saying because Albert Penello had mentioned that you pulled the Crapgamer there. Eat some stuff first, goddammit. But yeah, he had mentioned that it was future proof, and he actually said those words. And he was talking about how developers asked for the extra gig because they said, in a couple of years we're going to be able to really utilize that. You know what I mean? And then
I saw your video on that today. And
Ledbetter had mentioned it as well because he did a video for Digital Foundry saying, even if there was a PS5 to come out in a couple of years, it's not going to be a significant upgrade to the Xbox One X. You know what I mean? So
that's where the mystery is going to unfold, and we're going to find out, because I've been thinking about this back and forth, and you see the headlines with PS5's we all know PS5's coming probably, I would say most likely 2020, but depending on the success of the X, they could step on the gas and get it out in 2019. Regardless, that still gives Microsoft minimum 2 years, maximum 3 years. And then what you just said is something that time will tell. It's hard for us to tell on this podcast. Will that extra gig help? Will what they actually have in the box, when developers can see, because remember, when the PS5 comes out, they can really exploit what's in the box of the Xbox One X, right? Then they can go to town and be like, okay, now we can utilize every last bit of power out of this, because right now they can't do it because, let's be honest, there's parity going on. There's a parity clause somewhere out there with these AAAs. They can't let the X look so much more superior. They can't. But
I wouldn't even say that, Mooch. I mean, there's one game maybe that we might have some concerns about. That's Destiny. But I think they're lying about the Pro even on that game, because there's no way 4v4 on that game can't do 60 at 1080p on the Pro. There's no AI. There's no AI at all, and that's the excuse they gave for why it can't do that. So maybe they want to keep it 30 across the board on that title. And like I said, they're the only ones that have really spoken about the X1 CPU situation. And I'm not sure, I need a little more before I go all in on what exactly is the capabilities. But I mean, a lot of developers are saying flat out, no, this is ultra settings, that's medium settings. This is 60, that's 30. It's so easy to develop for. I think it counteracts that, as we were saying yesterday. They might spend a quarter of the time that they do on the PlayStation and still port and develop a better version pretty easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the fact that it's something that, because I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit burnt out on the hardware stuff. Like, PS4 Pro and then Xbox, and then people are already talking PS5 and Scorpio 2. And it's like, at some point, I'm looking at this back catalog and I'm like, I'm excited for the new console, but you know what I mean? I don't even have enough time to play the games that I have. I would rather go ahead.
It's just like Diablo. I bought Diablo at a Best Buy sale a year and a half ago, and I played it for like 10 minutes, jumped on whatever that was the hot game at that time during that winter, and I played it for the first time, the second time with Mooch and them last night, and fell in love with it. Like, whoa.
Damn, you guys are playing without me?
Sorry.
Crap, you're not up at 11:30 at night. Get out of here. Don't take that. Don't feel bad, K-Mega.
No. I was being sarcastic.
He was on his 780th sheep he was counting at that point.
Yeah. He was over there, had graham crackers and milk. His ass
game. Because they probably had his eyeballs deep in that PSVR.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, and he probably was. Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe someday they'll bring Media Player to PSVR.
Man, that would be great.
Oh my God, that's terrible. They but the thing of it is that, like, I mean, I'm always buying games because I'm always wondering when I'm going to get to that point to where I can't buy games. So, like, I bought about 6 of those PlayStation games off of that sale, and so I'm still got to catch up on games that I got. That I've been had on the PlayStation. I got to catch up on games that I have on the Xbox. I got tons of games on the PC. I bought games on the from the Steam sale. So I'm like, okay, look, I got to slow it down. I got to really start jumping on some of these games that I have, because Diablo kind of hit me with reality. Like, I really have a lot of good games. I need to jump on that. So it's time for me to start knocking these games out. But yeah, no, I'm caring about the hardware, but look, what comes with hardware is crazy software. And to the point about the PlayStation 5, I've been saying that for a long time. There is no way in hell that PlayStation 5 is going to come anytime soon, because in order for them to beat the X, they have to come out with a system that's going to cost just about as much, or maybe a little bit more, because they would have to use, I know that they have a lot of tech guys. They can make great hardware, but I don't think their guys is as tech savvy as Microsoft's. So I don't think that they could do all the things that Microsoft did to cut back on cost. And if you really want to stomp Microsoft's ass on the X, you're going to have to make a pretty powerful system, and that would cost a lot of money. So that's why I said it's going to take a while, in my opinion.
Yeah, all your games better be running at 60. Every one of them to really be a big differentiator, because the RAM and stuff and all the effects are being added now on the X. So you need something to separate yourself besides maybe more 4K games, right? Because 8K ain't coming soon. 4K is the cap right now, unless you're Titanfall, obviously. But I will say, K-Mega, that with the backlog thing, it's never been a better time to get ready to destroy a backlog, because you'll be doing it on a much better console. It's quite a bit faster.
Exactly. That's why I'm waiting on to play The Witcher. I know that you told me, Peter, just go ahead and get it on the PC, to get the 60 frames and all that. But I was like, why pay another $24? Well, if anybody doesn't have The Witcher.
I thought you had it on the PC, actually.
Huh?
I thought you had it on the PC.
No, I don't have it on PC. I only have it on the one.
Yeah, I got it on the PC. I ain't put much time into it, but yeah, I can't wait for this patch. I mean, it's going to look great. The best version by far, I'm sure.
Right. So
anyway.
Just a great time. And then, like, what I'm really excited for is the backwards compatibility games. Those games are going to look and feel even better. And that's when you're going to start seeing games that's going to be, you'll start seeing what I see, like when I'm playing my older games on the PC. You see what I'm saying? And that right there is going to be like, damn, why do I need to even play on my PC when I'm a console fan first, and I can start seeing these games like I do on my PC right now? It's over. It's a wrap.
Even better than the PC.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like about what Microsoft is doing, because one of the aspects about PC gaming that was cool was you could take your library with you no matter what. And so now we're actually getting the chance to do that with the Xbox as well, because they actually believe in backward compatibility, and even with some of the original Xbox stuff, which Rand, aren't you surprised about that? I never asked you that. Are you surprised that they announced backward compatibility with the original Xbox?
Yeah, totally. Because I was told many times that it was a waste of time.
Exactly. I was told that too.
Yeah, I mean, like, look,
I do too, Rand.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like no interest in, and 10 being like I can't wait to dig into me some OG Xbox games, that announcement for me was like a -5. Yeah.
Hey, -5?
-5.
Oh,
damn,
man, come on.
Look, but hey, I know some of you guys are excited for it, and that's great. I'm happy for you. It's just, I have the same thing with 360 back and pat. I don't care about. I bought an Xbox One to play Xbox One games. I am getting an Xbox One X so I can play those games better. I didn't buy the system with the idea that I could play those games again, because I've never done that. Never done that. I've never gone back and I play a game and then I move on and I play.
What about the aspect, Rand, that all those games you paid for, you bought it 5 years ago, well, you get to keep it now. I
mean, that's cool, but I'll still never play it. I don't care. The deed is done. I bought that game.
I know you crushed the shit out of games, though. A lot of people, they might have bought it and maybe they spent their $60 5 years ago. Like, wow, I never. Dead Space 3, great example. One of the best co-op games ever made. I can go back and play that. We've been playing through that here.
No,
lately.
I mean, as like a platform, as an idea that Xbox is like. Can bring in all the generations. I mean, it's cool from that, preserving games as art, as Phil said. But as a consumer, as like me using that option, I'm never going to use it, so it might as well not exist.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
Well, I respect that. I mean, it's like you said, it's not for everybody. It's just that, like, for people like for me at that time during the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, I was working so much, and I bought games, but I didn't. But like my son wanted games and things like that. So at that time, I didn't buy digital until towards the end of that generation. So I was buying a lot of hard copies and then trading them in to get newer games and things like that. So I missed out on a lot of opportunity. Games that were really, really good, and
the thing is, and don't get me wrong, you're probably the anomaly here. You're the person that probably can actually turn around and say, Mooch, no, I would actually do that, and that's fine. You have every right to say that. But realistically, here's the thing about the OG Xbox games coming back that I think is a good thing. Okay, it's not for me, but it's for other people. I think that Phil made a good point when he took over Xbox. He said, your games are your games are your games. And to explain that in layman's terms, if you buy a game, you should be able to carry it with you throughout the existence of your gaming, whatever you want to call it, entertainment, career, etc. And so I do think if you bought a game, why are you not able to play that anymore? Listen, I have an OG Xbox, but the damn tray that opens and closes, I have to use a paper clip to open the fucking thing. So my point is
they're built to last.
Yeah, they're built to. So my point is that, like, but I still bought these games, right? So why can't I play these games? So Phil doing that, bravo. Thank you for doing that. It's a very consumer-friendly move. Now let's get to reality. Right? In reality, we're not going to play those games. And Kay, you said that, and you're like, I didn't get a chance to. I was doing this, I was doing that, and now I can go back and buy them. We just said that we can't even finish the games we've got backlogged in this generation.
That is a good
How much
point.
time are you going to have to beat all the 360 games that you haven't played, and then all the OG? I mean, you'd have to quit your day job and disassociate yourself from your family and join the witness protection program in order to get through the 360 games.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen.
There was this idea. There was this idea I had when they announced this that it was kind of been bouncing around in my head. We all know 360 back and pat's hugely successful, even though that Ars Technica article tried to downplay it, right?
And then they apologized.
Right, and then they apologized and stuff. People do like so. like Microsoft knew the system Xbox One X was going to be $500 probably for a long time, at least for a couple years, if not longer, right? And they know Xbox One back compat is something that users really wanted. I almost feel like they did this purposefully to soften the blow of the $500 for Xbox One X, because look where it was positioned in the conference right before the announcement.
It's not enough to soften the blow of $500.
Well, but some it did, though, because people were like, they announced OG Xbox back and everyone's like, yeah, and then it was like, oh, my, it's $500, and everyone's like, yeah.
I think you might be reading into it a little too much.
I don't know.
I don't know anybody. I haven't talked to anybody. It's like, fuck yeah, I'm going back to play this 15-year-old game.
I don't know, but when you rewatch the conference, that got the loudest cheer.
Of course, because it's consumer friendly. It's consumer.
It is. I just kind of feel like they. Look, it's probably just me thinking too much into it. Like, they went and did the program so they can be like, nobody would boo at. I don't know. Maybe it's
that ain't enough.
Yeah. No, look, okay. Look,
they're no different than movies, guys. I mean, essentially, they're an art form. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't watched The Terminator in a couple of years, but at the same time, I would never not want to have the ability to go back and watch The Terminator. You know, it's
especially if you bought The Terminator.
Absolutely. Come on, do it. You got to watch The Terminator. Backwards compatibility is awesome. You need the old games. You can't always be out there with the new shit. You can't afford it.
Oh my God, that's great.
I mean, but also, but crap. He's not. This would have served a bigger point, and maybe I would be interested in more if they actually went back and put achievements in some of those titles that didn't have them.
Yeah, and I know it's possible because Phil said that that's possible in the past. So maybe that's something that they can eventually do.
They're not doing it. Mike already said on Twitter that
they're just emulating.
They're not doing it.
Not touching the
and there's going to be no online for any of the games. So it's like,
but you can have LAN parties. Come on, LAN parties.
Oh man, look, hey. LAN parties were absolutely fire. It's what got my son into gaming competition. We could go gaming with COD in competition. That LAN parties was legit. That was first getting me introduced into the Halo universe, and then just seeing playing a shooter. I mean, because I really wasn't the biggest shooter fan. I mean, James Bond was the only shooter that I liked before that. I didn't like Doom. I didn't like Quake. I didn't like any of that shit because it was on the PC and I wasn't using no mouse and keyboard. So, man, look, no, LAN parties would not be the greatest thing in the world, but if they added them there, and there's still a lot of people out there that still want to play with friends at the house. I mean, I've heard PlayStation people say that, so that could be an enticing thing for them. I'm not maybe so much the LAN party, but for just them, you know, like they're doing the split screen for Halo 6 and things like that. I mean, people love nostalgia. Look, just look at the sale numbers for the Nintendo Mini, the NES Mini, and then what they're going to do with the Super Nintendo Mini. And then we're hearing that maybe that this new Atari thing is going to be, it's because that's a new system. Don't know if it's going to be a brand new system or if they're going to have like some of their classics on there as well. People love classic games. Just a fact.
Yeah,
go ahead. You know what would be awesome though? I would totally be down for this. I want a LAN party where K Mega and All Day in the same room, and All Day does his El Mega impression, and you got to close your eyes to say which one's the real K Mega.
I want to hear them do Marco Polo in a pool, both with
Come on now, y'all being messy. Y'all being messy now. Y'all being messy.
It's a pretty good impression.
Fonzarelli doing Xbot is like, he be fucking me up because I'll look around and he's like, "What's up, everybody?" I'm like, "Hey, Bot, what's going on? I thought you could come on, bro." And then Fonzarelli, oh bastard, he throw me off every time. So yeah.
Hey, I want to talk a little bit about this too. We talked about it on some other shows like Crossfire and stuff, but I'm going to lead it into another topic so it's still relevant. Respawn and their 6K stuff, obviously down samples back down to 4K. But this was something that Digital Foundry did another video about today, and maybe you guys saw it, and it was that asshole Tom was doing this one, and he's like basically referenced Mark Cerny, who said that you need 8 teraflops to achieve 4K native, right? So he's sucking up to Mark Cerny during this video, like kissing his ass, like, yeah, it looks like we're gonna be disappointed with the Xbox One X. There's gonna be a lot of checkerboarding, just like the PS4 Pro. they're totally just downplaying the Xbox One X at this point, even more so than I would have thought. And I just like wanted to smack that little Tom dude, because like the whole video is just him basically saying the X can't do native 4K. It's going to do checkerboard, which is the same thing that the Pro does. But he doesn't elaborate saying anything about, it's going to be much better checkerboarding, or it's going to have much better graphics due to the higher res textures and things like that. He doesn't really get into that.
He doesn't get into the fact that Microsoft don't have a single checkerboarded game right now either. Every single one of them is native 4K.
Yeah. He mentions stuff like Super Lucky Tales and Forza. He's like,
what about Gears? What about Killer Instinct? What about Crackdown? What about Jesus Christ, Sea of Thieves? Like every single one of them.
Shadow of War. He mentioned Shadow of War, Super Lucky Tale, and Gears of War 4 and Forza. Those are the 4 that he mentioned. And then he was just like, it looks like we're going to be prepared to be really disappointed at $499.
Well, Mark certainly probably thinks you need a 6 teraflop computer just to watch porn. I mean, my God.
Oh no.
Mine is.
I've only got a 3 teraflop.
Yeah.
No, I got enough if I want to see some booty slapping. So don't worry about that.
Well, no, I'm just absolutely sick and tired of this. Like, I thought that. I don't know, like maybe I'm crazy, because I thought when the Xbox One X was finally announced that the tables would turn and stuff would, like, magically, this light bulb would turn on. Remember, I did this. I said this analogy. We were coming out of the shit tunnel in Shawshank Redemption, and it was raining on us, and we were excited. We were like, yeah. And now it's not. Like, everybody's like, there's more hate now than ever. Like, how?
It's all right. There's going to be. It's 4 months. It's 4 months from release, and it's worth noting that while Titanfall can actually sample up to 6K, 3260p or something like that, the Pro version runs at 1440, which is half of 4K. So you're not even talking 4K on the Pro. You're not talking even close to 4K.
But he compares the upgrade. He compares the upgrade to the Pro, though. The Titanfall 2, he's like, it's very similar to the Pro upgrade of Titanfall 2.
Well, he's talking about the settings. Like, apparently, for some reason, why the developers are not using ambient occlusion blows my mind, because that's one of the coolest looking features, like HBAO on the PC. You notice that. And resolution, that stuff's going to be scaling. Like, you don't notice that stuff a lot in action. And I'm just really confused as to why they're limiting the graphics feature. If it's scaling up to 6K, they have the overhead to activate something like that. That's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't fucking understand it. I don't understand it. Like, Ren, what are your thoughts on this crazy shit? Because you're kind of more level-headed, and whereas I'm kind of like hot and pissed off easy. So, like, you must notice this shit too, right? I mean, come on. Yeah, good chat, Rand.
I think that's a big
high five, bro.
Oh,
Woo! Yeah, I like where your head's at right now. But
that's a good theory, Rand.
Yes. Let's go over to Mooch. Mooch, what's up? What are your thoughts on this completely asinine idiot Tom guy?
Yeah, I watched the video.
I
saw it. And listen, the whole thing was just a jab at Xbox. What else?
6 minutes of damage control in the Pro and hating on the Xbox.
Yep, and at the very end, he's like, "But hey, who knows? Titanfall got it up to 6K. Who knows what's gonna happen?" And it was like, "All right, whatever. Damage is already done." I don't know what to say here, and that's what we were talking about earlier in this podcast when Dealer was like, "Well, he's like, it's only one game." The problem is that like this is really important for Microsoft to step on the gas and make a point. Fine, if it's just Destiny, it's just Destiny. Who cares? But they've got to get Assassin's Creed up to snuff. They've got to get these other games up to 4K. Because the problem is you just said it on stage. And I'm with you guys. I don't care. But they just said it. And then all of a sudden they're going to come out and be checkerboard. And it's like, does it matter? No, I'm with you. It does not matter. We've been saying that all along. 900p, 1080p, checkerboard, 4K. It doesn't really matter. But the point is you are selling a premium system. We do need to see it. And they're like, that's what that Tom guy was kind of bashing. He's like, and as you can clearly see, on Assassin's Creed, we're not there yet. And that,
you can't tell how premium something is when your competition isn't. They're not even showing the game running on the Pro. If you think it's bad on the X, it's going to be complete dog shit on fire on the Pro.
Agreed.
Right, yeah. They don't want to do it.
But the problem is, though, Dealer, unless you go buy the equipment and you do it on your channel.
Oh, they'll show us. That's what I'm saying. We have to wait until the games come out before you start noticing these trends. I mean, if there isn't a significant advantage in every category, then they did not apply themselves and they ported the game.
I would suggest that Xbox fans avoid those fucking games then. At that particular point, if a game comes out and they're comparing them and they go, hey, they're pretty much the fucking same on the Pro and the Xbox One X. At that point, I'm going, see you later. My money's going on something else.
It is literally impossible, bro. It's literally impossible to have the same version of these two consoles.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I should hope not. You know what I mean? Like to me, this whole thing has me flabbergasted, right? Like I don't understand how the fuck anybody in the media can do this at this point, right? Their jobs, like the IGNs, the games, they're so irrelevant right now, and yet here we are again with these guys. The whole sole purpose of this, like, this is a major site, right? Digital Foundry, Eurogamer. This is what I'm trying to stress, right? This is why I'm so pissed off, because the whole fucking purpose of this video is to debunk the people that were excited about this guy's fucking post. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's
but he didn't debunk shit. He just further confirmed.
He just did a fucking 6-minute video bashing, basically saying, hey, it's pretty much the same as the Pro. It's not going to do this. It's not going to do that. I'm disappointed. Wah, wah, wah. Mark Cerny's a fucking god. He says 8 teraflops, 8 teraflops, 8 teraflops. We're going to trust Mark fucking Cerny. Isn't that special, guy? Isn't that special? 8 teraflops. 8 teraflops
there is a query here,
fuck
Crap.
you, Mark Cerny.
The problem is though, Crap, is that you've got all of these outlets that have to talk news. Like we say it all the time. Sometimes we'll all get together behind the scenes and we're like, okay, we have to actually discuss things and you have to have something to talk about. But that people can say there's a lot of podcasts, but there's a lot of gaming media. I mean, they trounce all of us. And I mean, that's my point. These guys got to talk about something. And Jeremy said it on Crossfire last Friday when he was basically saying, you know, we play into it. It's not that we play into it. We have to talk about something. But they know that they're going to say something dumb, and then we're just going to roll with it, or the internet will roll with it. And forums and this and that and podcasts and, you know, threads and the Reddit and people like pick it up and they run with it. And then when they do that, it just makes more news and more nonsense. A lot of what he said is what Dealer just said. Dealer just said it. Wait till the games come out and they do a side-by-side. Dealer said he's almost willing to guarantee you that you're going to see every category win on the X. But the point of the matter is we have to wait all the way until November 7th. And if you don't think that's a long wait, folks, I hope you guys are all going on a 3 or 4 month vacation with your families, because this is a long 4 months. There's no major releases. There's nothing coming out for the next 4 months except for a DLC on Sony. There's nothing really coming out.
Well, he means on Sony.
I'm saying they get
on Sony. Yeah, I was curious when he said Titanfall would share the same exact texture resolution.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That makes no sense to me. That's a 1% performance hit. There's no reason they shouldn't have implemented some higher bandwidth textures there. And like I said, keeping the settings at almost the same. Of course, a lot of those textures and stuff are going to look better inherently because they were at 720 through 900p on the X1, right? And you didn't see what was already there because the game was at a lower frame buffer, right?
Right.
So they'll look better, but they're the same resolution as what's on the PlayStation 4. And that's kind of really weird to me.
Yeah. I think that is a bad situation. That's the problem. People want to know one of the Xbox One X's problems is this is one of the problems, right? The problems that the media is going to really do their best job at. And I know a lot of people think it's crazy because me and Mooch for the longest time, for years, have been the media people, right? The media bias, right? We're the ones that think that the media is so fucking biased. We wear the tinfoil hats, but then now we have more proof than ever that this is actually the fucking case. You have people like, what the hell is his name? Jeff Keighley leaked the price, basically fucks over Microsoft's E3 conference.
If Jeff Keighley's so close with Kojima, how come Jeff Keighley hasn't snuck us some pictures of Death Stranding and things that are going on behind the scenes? No.
That game isn't even 1% done.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
A fucking PS5 game.
Of course it's not done. But I mean, you guys have to understand something, right? I mean, this is what I'm saying. You have everything from that kind of situation to the ridiculousness that you see at IGN every day. And you see the ridiculousness that's going on the other sites. This is what's happening, folks. And it's been going on since 2012. Now people are looking at it and going, yeah, I saw that all along. Well, congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. I'm glad you've seen it all along because I've been saying it all along. And I mean, this is what it's blatantly obvious. And people say, why do you discuss it? Well, we discuss it because we shouldn't be discussing it. Imagine this world. Let me paint a picture for you guys. Imagine me as Bob Ross. I'm going to paint some pretty little trees right now, okay? I'm going to paint you guys a picture real quick. Everybody sit back and Grab an adult beverage.
Let's hear Mooch.
You know what I was gonna say? Imagine if these gaming sites were talking about the gaming and maybe pushing Sony. Imagine a couple articles being like, Sony, you need to do this, and Microsoft, you need to do that, and reporting the way things used to be reported back a long time ago when they gave a game and the game was buy it, rent it, or pass on it. And it wasn't just a conspiracy theory of, well, Microsoft's going to do this and Sony's going to do that, and Microsoft hasn't done any of these things, and Phil said this and he said that. Let's take his quote and mumble it and jumble it into something else. And it's like, if we could just have had this media that was presenting the facts and like what's going on and go and do, like, why don't we have interviews? When was the last time Ryan McCaffrey and Podcast Unlock took their cameras and went out and did like a week-long thing somewhere at one of the developing centers, right? At Coalition or 343, and being like, this week we're at 343, follow me. And he's holding the mic. He's like, follow me. We're actually going to go in and talk to Frank. We're going to see what he's actually working on right now. And like, we would watch that. No. Instead, they do what we're doing. They do what we're doing. They're sitting there being like, well, what do you think, Destin? I don't think I need a 4K. What do you think? I don't really know. I don't know about you guys, but power bricks are full of shit and full of, I was like, what? Why are you? Nobody wants to talk. Why is gaming sites talking about this? Let's talk about the games, right? This is what people say all the time. Let's talk about the games, the systems, the new tech advancement. What's happening? There's none of that, folks. There's none of it.
Definitely, yeah. You're preaching on that one. That was absolutely the truth. That's the thing that I missed. That's why I go to places like Gamer Sutra and places like that still has, some genuine articles to read. There was one article that was talking about ageism in gaming. And it was basically just talking about how all the older developers, how they're getting shunned out, and for these new, inexpensive developers. And see, things like that is a hell of a lot more interesting, because when people ask about, why Andromeda didn't look like, any of the other Mass Effects, because graphically they look different, with their facial animations and everything. Well, it's because they had a new team, and the older guys from, were doing something else, or they got shunned out. Those are the things that's important.
They were doing Anthem, and then the other team is now confirmed to be doing a new Dragon Age game.
Right. See, so that's the sub. So that was one of the things. But then, like, it was just going on for like these, not so much for EA, but other companies where they might have had somebody, a director or somebody that was in charge, and for all that, and then they let that person go for somebody that cost a hell of a lot less. Then that person doesn't have the experience. You're kicking the experience away. Why does IGN? Why is Kotaku? Why is any of these people talking about that or anything else that Mooch said, in order for us to be more informed and to be aware of what's going on with gaming, instead of just pulling in the tail strings of this console war bullshit? None of us really want to talk about anything so much, negative about PlayStation. But damn, when everything is all praised on PlayStation, there has to be something wrong with the fucking system, right? Yeah. I mean, and that's one thing about with Xbox, with the Xbox community, we have a thick skin because we hear all the criticism. But oh my God, do not say anything negative about the PlayStation and you get an uproar that you've never seen before. It is absolutely insane. And that's the shit that we need to be talking about, so we can squash this shit and move on, and let's get to some games.
Yeah, you know what? Also, I just remember one more thing that fucker said in that 5-minute video or 6-minute video, right? So he goes like fucking Mooch's little because look, he brings up he brings up the fact that Ark Survival Evolved is going for a 1080p 60 option, and he treats that like a fucking bad thing.
He doesn't compare it to the pros medium settings and all that, right?
Yeah,
it's ultra settings.
He's just like prepare for disappointment. Ark Survival Evolved is a perfect example where it's not even going to do 4K. It's just going to be 1080p 60, even though they did also say that they would probably offer a closer to 4K 30 as well. Like this stuff is why this
game's not even complete yet, bro. Exactly. It's not even out yet, and it's unoptimized on every single platform. That's a fact.
I'm just upset. Exactly. I'm just upset. I'm gonna be forced to download a patch for this, man.
Yeah.
You're forced
to extra graphics and shit.
God damn it. Yeah, I mean, anybody that's buying an Xbox One X, you're getting it to enjoy higher, like Next Gen 720 said, better graphics, better graphics. I'm getting better graphics, right?
I'm paying $500 for this patch, motherfuckers.
Exactly. That's what I want. The fucking free patches that are going to give us better graphics. That's all any of us want at the end of the day. But yeah, this just blows my mind. And you know what's so funny is a lot of times when I do videos, like I like doing them, and then sometimes I'll actually put in work and start like doing stuff. And I did a video at 1 a.m. last night that compared all the stuff that Xbox One has compared to the stuff that Sony says no to. And I got a lot of positive feedback for that. You know, it was like they have backwards compatibility on Xbox 360. They came out with 2 new consoles because people weren't happy with the original one. They came out with an Elite controller, Game Pass. You know, it was EA Access. It was all this stuff, cross-platform play with the Switch. And it's this stuff that Sony says no to, right? But they're still for the players. You know, this is something that I would just like to get like a group of the biggest Sony fanboys in a room and say, look at this video that Crapgamer did. Look at it, motherfuckers. Look. Tell me.
They'd be like, where's your source, Fat Gamer?
Fuck you. That's what I was saying. Like, I would probably lose it because, honestly, how can anybody defend this stuff? It's piling up. Like, it's okay when it was one thing, and they were, well, you know, EA Access, yeah, you know, oh, well, Game Pass, I don't know, I don't know. Well, crossplay, well, what about Microsoft? They didn't want to do that last gen. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't fucking understand how anybody, it's piling up. There's this big pile of shit now on Sony, and people aren't even noticing. They don't notice it. They're not noticing. They're just like fucking ignoring it, and it's getting so much. It's getting harder and harder to ignore, and eventually that fucking shit is going to get so high that everybody's going to ignore it, and the bottom is going to fall out, and I'm going to laugh that fucking day. I am going to laugh.
Jim Ryan's bullshit ain't going to last much longer.
Exactly, and I am going to laugh, and I'm going to do a fucking video that's just me laughing, and people are going to be like, what is he laughing about? And then you can go back to this video and go, oh, it fucking fell out for Sony. That shit is funny. Ha! You know, like it's, yeah, by the way, I had a little bit of tonight, so.
Talk to us.
I did some adult beveraging before the show, so
I can tell.
Oh, well, we can tell. We can tell, but you might be a sinner.
He means crystal
you're
milk.
preaching and teaching.
I've never heard Crap speak so much on his own podcast.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, there's actually people being like, Mooch, why are you so quiet? I'm like, I can't speak. Crap's still going.
I must have got Crap going with that fucking rhino taking a shit gif earlier.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Usually, everybody else talks on Crap's podcast except Crap, and then Crap goes off on Mooch's podcast, but it's a little bit different.
Well, you know what? There was a lot that I wanted to say. You know, it's like I used to be able to rant with the best of them, and lately, just like I said, you know, I thought that I could focus a little bit more on like the game side of stuff because I really like talking about the games. But the fact that this hate is continuing and ramping up, just gets me back into the whole.
Well, I'm excited though, Crap. Here's what I'm excited. Like I get it. I'm gonna pogo off of what Dealer said. I can't wait till the fall comes. When the fall shows up and then the boxes are side by side. I mean, they can't. How are they going to talk shit about the Xbox One X if it performs better? That's a big. And I'm going to use the word "if" right now because we got to wait and see, right? I mean, we definitely. I would definitely say if I was a gambling man, I put my money on the X. But I mean, like, what are they going to do? What will the narrative change to next? Because we said before, when power changes, we'll go to games. But now this holiday, there's also more. I believe there's either more games between even the ID at Xbox games and the AAAs. I think Microsoft has more games coming out this fall. I think I'm not counting the Japanese games. I'm counting just the games that we're aware of because they have NAC and GT Sport.
Woo! NAC too. We all fucking asked for that game. I know that.
And do not forget about Looney Cooney too. Why do y'all guys always keep forgetting about Looney Cooney?
That game could come to Xbox.
Looney Cooney.
That game could come to Xbox. We're gonna get some Japanese game love at Tokyo Game Show. I am not at all convinced that Phil went over there. Obviously, some good stuff came in the works. I think we're gonna get Final Fantasy 14. I know I'm not interested in that, but some people are. And it seems like we might get a version of that that's going to do crossplay with the Switch because that's something that has been talked about. Did you guys hear that the Rocket League or soccer cars developer asked Sony every day?
Yeah.
They ask Sony every day, for cross-platform play every fucking day, and Sony says no every day. Nintendo, who is extra cautious, they said sure. Well, they got back to them that same day when they asked, right? They said yeah, we'll do it. I mean, Microsoft took them, like they said, less than a month, but Sony, they ask every day. They say we've got it working, it could work, and they're like no. Like, listen.
So are they like the kids in the car? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet?
No. Yeah. No.
Are we there yet? No.
Yoshida, can you please? The great Harada son was wanting to have crossplay with the mighty Tekken, and he said,
they're like, hey, Sony, can we have crossplay? And Sony's like, no, we can't do crossplay, but we can do cross-dressing. Sean Layden, you're up, and please take those mummies down to the ceiling.
No, listen, Noof chimes in with that one. Come on, Noof, you're better than that. Your jokes, your jokes are much better than
that. They got lots of games coming out in the fall, but if I can't spell them, I don't fucking buy them. That's
I know. Well, listen, Microsoft obviously is going to have a lot of games on their platform. It's super easy to fucking develop for it, especially with the X coming. Phil went over to Japan. They showed, I think, more Japanese games at their conference than Sony did, which is obvious because Sony didn't show shit, like 9 games that weren't VR. So, and Microsoft is going to Gamescom. They say they got some announcements, some new game stuff or whatever. It's probably not going to be anything huge. Rand, what do you know? Like, did you hear about this Splinter Cell stuff or this Tomb Raider stuff that's heating up there? Because there's rumors of both of these things. I know not exclusive, but still would be cool.
I mean, Splinter Cell stuff, the Ubisoft CEO was just talking about it, and he's just like, yeah, we're going to do it at some point. You think? You've been only working on it for 2 years now.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, people are like, you were wrong about that, Crapgamer.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
And even though all the stuff I got right that I knew was happening, that I was like, you got Splinter Cell right. Like, yeah, well, I said Monster Hunter 5 or whatever was going to be on Xbox. Everybody in my comments were like, that's impossible. That's impossible, Rand. Monster Hunter never been on Xbox. And I was
inconceivable.
I was like, it's coming. Trust me. Well, that's impossible. I don't think I was the first person to say Anthem was going to be or BioWare's game was going to be at Xbox's show because I knew, and like. But no, it's like they don't look at the stuff that you knew. They look at the stuff like you said Splinter Cell was gonna be there.
Yeah.
Hey man, I know it was real at one point. I have friends who have played the game, so I think it'll be shown off next year.
Hey, listen, I got the OG backwards compatibility thing right because like a month and a half or 2 months before or whenever Voodoo Vince Remaster released, there's a video interview with them talking about OG Xbox games going to Xbox One, right? And he doesn't say remasters or anything like that. So I'm like this mother, and nobody had watched his video. Like it's a developer interview, and there was like a few hundred views or whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, so I did a video about it, and I added it in. And I said, okay, well, it looks like they're going to get OG backwards compatibility, Xbox One X. That I had heard that name fucking forever. I got the price wrong, but I mean, what are you going to do? We were all thinking pretty much $399.
Oh, we were all hoping for $399.
Yeah,
we all knew.
Thinking $399.
I think we all knew it was going to be $500.
Well, deep down, I was really hoping that Microsoft would have hit that $399 just for the mere fact that of the competition aspect of it. I'm like, you can. I'm like, it's a can't lose situation. But of course, Next Gen and so many other people made great valid points. Talking, Newark was one of them as well. NJ, he was. Look, for what you're getting out of this console, if this console was $399, then we probably would be looking at a slightly better version of the PlayStation Pro. So that's to see that this thing has this much power compared to any other PC out there, high-end PC out there for only $500. It's not a big deal whatsoever. It's still, you're still winning. It's still a benefit.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this real quick as well, because Greenberg said that there would be some announcements and surprises. But there's also this report that the Xbox One X is going to actually go up for pre-order after Gamescom. The reason being not just the FCC stuff, but they're also working with retailers to get like a trade-in deal going, and they're also wanting to showcase this thing to the European market before it's available for pre-order. So, I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on that? Are you guys buying that?
You think it's going to be after Gamescom then?
I think they're going to show it off to Gamescom, and then they're going to say, okay, it's up for pre-order now.
If you go back and watch Albert Pinello's interview with Damon Hatfield and Ryan McCaffrey, He says later this summer or later this. I don't know if he said later on. Like it wasn't coming in a week and a half. Is my point. Like he even did like the hand motion, like when you're like waving somebody off. He's going like this. He's like, it's like later on. So it's coming later on. I don't listen. I agree.
Gamescom is August 22nd.
Yeah, so
the 26th.
It'll be after that, which makes sense, right? That's 2 months before. I've always said that I think you're going to get 175 to 200 for your Xbox One S, especially the 1 terabyte and up. I think they're going to do that deal. They want to get people to have these in their home. So, I mean, I just think you're going to see that occur. But, I mean, like I said, who knows? At the end of the day, who really knows? But that sounds about right, Crap.
I'm kind of blown away that people, expect some kind of extra trade-in shit because they're upgrading. People, you've had the console for, 4 years by the time you get this thing? And you're going to be able to sell it. Right?
Yeah, I think the S is like people want to trade in,
Yeah, well, they knew. They announced them the same day at the same show. You knew what you were in for. You got a 4K Blu-ray. You've got a better console. But if you did that, knowing the Scorpio is coming, and you complain because there's no pre-order incentive boost to how much credit you're going to get, that's absolutely insane to me. So, sell it where you can. But either way, you're getting, if you kind of look around and sell it, you can get, close to 200 for it right before the thing comes out. Yeah. But the longer you wait, the less you're going to get, and I just feel like it's basic business. You're not going to get an incentive because you're getting a better product for $500 more. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not the type to actually trade in my stuff, so I'm going to keep my S. In fact, I even thought about because I seen some really good
that
deals.
Doesn't make any sense though.
Well,
it's all backward and forward compatible.
I know, but you know why I would keep it? Multiple reasons. I can have one in the room. I can have one in the living room, and I have.
Let me break it.
Yeah, Hellhammer will inevitably break it, like he did my launch one.
But if I could also debunk that, you're telling me you're going to go spend 3 hours, right? You're going to be 3 hours on a 4K beast, and then you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to shut this one down. I'm actually going to go use the lesser, shittier one in the other room now. No,
well, no. You know what I can tell you what good it'd be you because I got a new desk, this big like really nice L-shaped desk, and I got 2 monitors, a 32-inch monitor and a 27-inch monitor, right? And then what I did was I set it up to where I can cap stuff off the monitors without having to fucking drag the cap card halfway across the room. You know what I mean? Like it's just set. It's more convenient for me to cap stuff that way. So like I'm just thinking from a perspective of YouTube and stuff. Like I couldn't, you know what I mean? Like for me, it doesn't really matter. Like the other one,
yeah, but you're gonna be able to 4K capture off of the X. You're gonna capture everything in 1080p. Why wouldn't you want to capture?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends. If I
listen, ultimately, Crap. Do me a personal favor.
Damn, you debunking me.
Return it. It doesn't make any sense.
You're right, but I can't get rid of it, man. I like that thing too much.
Take a picture. It lasts longer.
No, I'm keeping like I have my official game, and so my X is going to be in there. And while I'll just have the S be like for movies or whatever. So for the old lady or kids, whatever.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like it. I like the one. It's because I got a couple of 4Ks, and then one of them I use a lot just for like a 4K Blu-ray player. And things like that. So Matty Beast does make a good point. It would take me a long time to upload a 4K video.
That's what I was gonna say, man. Like how much space are they gonna take up, and then how long is gonna upload to YouTube? 4K.
Some of them are like for like a 11-minute video. It's like 180 gigabytes. Like it's getting crazy.
Yeah. Wait, 180 gigabytes to upload?
180 gigabyte files for a 10-minute video.
As I'm saying, like it's cool that the Xbox One X has that ability, but I've been pushing for give me the option, because I'm not going to use the 4K capture because I don't want to store that anywhere, and then I don't want to upload it to YouTube. It's going to take way too long. Like I hope to just have the option of recording 1080p if I want.
Well, you can downsample it. Like if you're using Premiere, you can decide how many megabytes.
Oh yeah. But like it just doesn't seem worth it, at that point. But I was just kind of disappointed they didn't I feel like it's a missed opportunity they didn't have pre-orders available when the system was announced. Like
those, just to be fair, that was not game DVR file sizes. That was some people were capturing on solid state kind of flash drives at E3, and from Forza 7 they were recording a race, and it was over 100 gigabytes. So that's not anything because they're using HEVC for a reason. That's kind of the big thing, is because you can have those massive high quality files that it really compresses them effectively. That's the advantage of HEVC over the previous one. So I'm sure it will not be that big when you record a clip. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, but they only give you so much cloud storage because those clips are staying.
So that feeds into my theory as well that the clips should be much smaller, and I guarantee you they'll up that storage anyway.
Well, I mean, you would think, but I mean, who knows? I kind of feel like the pre-order thing, though, man. Like, I feel like it was a missed opportunity for them not to have it available right after the conference.
You think that has to do with the FCC stuff, or are they trying to show?
Well, no,
shit
it probably does. I just feel like that stuff should have been taken care of because everybody I know wanted to pre-order that shit right away. It was like impulse pre-order. Like, yep, you get my pre-order and I'm getting this X. But the longer you go, the more.
Someone said part of that was to make sure that again there was no leaks prior to.
Well, I mean, I get that, but I mean, Crap leaked the name 2 months ago, so I mean,
yeah.
You know,
Here's the thing, though. I will counter this and say, Rand, I'm almost gonna go ahead and bet that everybody that was like, I want to pre-order this right now, you're gonna get all of them and a whole lot more. Nobody was like, I'm gonna get an X on June 11th, and now here we are on approaching June 30th, and like, fuck that shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you were going to get it on the 11th, you're going to get it on July 11th, and you're going to get it on September 11th, and you're probably going to get it on October 11th.
I mean, I was going to E3 up to a certain point, and then I wasn't. I mean, shit happens. You know?
That's why he's still pre-ordering the Xbox One X.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Rand. And Crap's a perfect example of this. Like, just because you went and pre-ordered it, like, if shit happens, and I totally agree with you, if shit happens, you're going to also pre-order it. Be like, I'm not buying it. Like, you can also unclick the button. You know, it's as easy as follow and unfollow, like and dislike.
Yeah, but I mean, look at. I mean, we just talked about in this podcast. Look at like what you would call some of the Digital Foundry negative articles. Yeah. Like, everybody's hyped about the system, but the longer you get to go from here to pre-order stuff, some people are like, maybe the system isn't worth it because of X, Y, and Z. All the, you know, like
the stigmas.
Yeah, the stigmas. Like, and you're talking not a week, you're talking like potentially 2 more months. Imagine how many 2 more months, how much more negative information. Another checkerboarded game. What am I paying $500?
But then you look at Crapgamer's channel, and you're going to be like, look, that motherfucker does a video every time a native one comes out, bitches.
Woo! Rand makes a point. Rand makes a point, but at the same time, I'll say if Crap's rumor's right and the numbers are right that they're going to come out and let you pre-order after Gamescom, Gamescom's going to be a whole nother pep rally. It's a whole nother pep rally.
You would hope, but what if Gamescom is a dud? What if they don't show anything interesting?
Well, listen,
it's like,
well, interesting or not, it's going to show E3 games again. You're going to see Assassin's Creed, and everyone's going to get hyped again, and they're going to be like, and now the button's ready, and they're going to go click it. I mean, I really, my end result is very, very small number of people they've lost because they don't have the pre-order up yet. I think pre-ordering, and you're Rand, you're Mr. I hate pre-ordering. You know, I mean, you hate it.
It's free on Amazon, though, bro.
Yeah, but that's my point. That's why Amazon's numbers are so skewed. They're not real. Like PSVR, the day it was available.
Don't be hating on my PSVR.
Went right to the top, and then the minute that they shipped, it wasn't even in the top 100. So, like,
Mooch, you played VR. What do you think? It was great, right?
I think it's good. It's a nice experience. It's not ready. Phil said it best. It's years. Crap, that is years. I played the Batman game.
You were Batman, right? You were motherfucking Batman.
I was Batman's wrist and hands.
Okay, you shit all over everything.
I'm not shitting all over everything. And from dusk till dawn, I went home with a fucking Until Dawn. The cart game there.
That'd be a better game, Dust Till Dawn.
I mean, don't get me exactly. It would have been actually a great game.
That shit's scary though. With the saws that come down and shit.
Oh, listen. Right? Oh, absolutely. Listen. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that there wasn't any jerk reaction to certain things that were scary and freaky. It's cool. And let me tell you something. When it becomes perfected, there's something there. But for $500 right now, no way a game on rails,
bro.
A whole $50 off? I'm out of here, guys. Fuck this podcast. I should just kick the computer over and run out. Listen, my whole thing.
Somebody started to GoFundMe for Mooch. Let's get him a PSVR, man.
Let's get a little bit into what you've said that I gotta tell the rest of the public here. I played PSVR for about, I want to say, a little over an hour. Definitely felt nauseous. Got a headache. Wanted to switch with somebody else to do a board back and forth because I was like, I can't. I played for about 45 minutes straight, and then I took it off. Then I played for another 15, 20 minutes after that. Like, it's just not something I would do daily. And the fact that you've played it, and I believe you.
Yeah.
The amount you have, I think you've probably got permanent brain damage from the amount.
Maybe that's why I'm so fucking crazy.
Radiation to the brain.
Because
Hey.
I mean, in all honesty, it's not comfortable, crap. And I'll say this much: the headset's comfortable as far as the weight.
Yeah.
But it irks your nose. It does fog up. That's all true. And there is white light that gets in under your nose. I couldn't even imagine if I wore glasses. I don't wear glasses.
I don't know. I got like I got like a big head, so that fits me. I don't have the weight head. But I can tell you this much: Noof was interested in VR, isn't that right, Noof? And you were
I'm not gonna lie, I'm interested, but again, like Mooch says, at $500, that's a tough interest right there. Like I don't know, man. I got
something for peripheral. That's ridiculous.
That I just can't drop. Actually, it's $649 Canada, so it's even more.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
Well, you know what? Again, like I bought a lot of the stuff in that Sony sale. If you guys didn't know, Sony has a big sale going on right now. Microsoft starts at the end of the week. They're going to have over 350 games on sale. On Sony's side, I bought VR Worlds. It was digitally on sale. It was like $13. I bought Shadow of Mordor. It was $3.99 for the complete edition.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, because it's got pro enhancement on there as well. I bought Fat Princess. That was for you, Mooch.
I love Fat Princess.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. But answer me this: what was I went through about 5 or 6 pages of the PlayStation sale. I didn't see anything that I had to scoop up except for Resogun's $3.49.
I know. You were like, finally, I'll get Resogun, the game that Colin and Greg raved about in 2013.
There's still people that say it's the best game on PS4. I'm serious.
It's not. It's like you'll play it for 5 minutes and you'll be like, okay, that's it. So I'm glad that you waited until it was almost free
actually,
to pick.
The game that I want is I'm glad Until Dawn is free because I'm definitely going to pick that up on next month.
Yeah.
But the other game that I'm interested in is by the makers of Resogun that Rand reviewed is Next Machina, and I actually like that game. Reminds me a lot of I grew up playing Smash TV. You know, I'll buy that for $1. Like that was a great game.
Rand has that game, don't you, Rand?
He does, but he's got he's. He reviewed it. I think he gave it.
Review crap. Thanks for watching, man. God.
I don't know. You put out a lot of content, almost as much as me. It's hard to keep up.
Not almost. I sometimes wonder how you do it. 3 videos a day. I barely can scrape together a topic for 1 video.
Oh, I'm fucking constantly going, man. I got shit. Yeah. I got shit flowing in the old brain there, right? You know what I mean?
Crap.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh, that motherfucker called me fat. I got to come up with something. They're gonna be right, and I'll come up with something and I just fucking lay it down, man. Like I already got. To be honest with you, it's like how I do it, and this is like I know a lot of people probably think it's a very involved process, and as we're kind of wrapping up, but what I do is my stuff is always uploading and set to go off before I don't even have to be home, you know. And a lot of the stuff, if it's a opinion piece, I'll think of that shit while I'm at work or whatever, just like write the shit down on my phone. That's a good title. If I got a title, I'm good to fucking go, you know what I mean? And then that stuff is ready to go, and then it pops up, you know what I mean? That's how it works. Yeah, I'm like huh. Megaton.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Megaton.
Exactly.
Whoa, Jim Ryan says something dumb again. Megaton.
Whoa, what the fuck is wrong with Jim Ryan? The guy's a fucking idiot, like completely. Oh, you know what? I wanted to talk about this. I know it's Nintendo based, but this SNES Mini got announced. 21 games. Star Fox 2, which is previously unreleased. This thing's gonna be $80. You can't pre-order it, and they're already gonna stop production at the end of the year. Like, does Nintendo not like money? I'm just curious.
I will have that system.
Yeah, me too.
It's like they all have amnesia. How they were freaking out with the Wii U, and now they're like, real.
They've got this thing, right, with all these games that would be great that people would buy on the Virtual Console and the Switch, but they're like, fuck that. Let's put this thing out for $80 on this Super Nintendo Mini, which I think is an awesome thing because I think the Super Nintendo is really where Nintendo kind of came into their own. That's the one that I remember just
one of the best consoles of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're both right, but I would say that they kind of came in. I think the NES was just as big.
You know what? I love the NES too, but I'm just saying, like, I remember the Super NES. Well, I was a Genesis guy too, but I remember when I first was playing like Super Mario World and Castlevania 4 and Super Metroid. Those games just blew my mind.
Well, you know what it is? Let me say this much. There's a lot of reasons. First of all, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, okay? So I'm going to buy
weaponized nostalgia, though.
It is. It is. But the one thing that I learned from, like, I still have my NES, and I have a lot of games for it. And every once in a while, you pop that and you play an old game like that, and you sit there and you're like, oh, my God, that game was so great. You play it, and then you're like, holy shit, how did I play this for so long? And that's one of the things about nostalgia that I think is so great, and I don't think a lot of people talk about it enough. It's good to go back and replay some of those older games, but I think it gives you an appreciation for what you have today. You know?
Yeah, most definitely. That, you know, I've never really ever been like a graphics guy. Like, you know, like everything has to look so pretty and crisp. You know, it always came to me like, you know, just the gameplay story. But here recently, and especially looking at games like Anthem and then what you know, Metro looks like, even God of War looks impressive, even though I'm scared as hell of it. But it's
Dad of War,
yeah,
Big Show of War,
yeah, Daddy Daycare War. Anyway,
Teddy Daycare.
But the thing of it is that these games look so damn good. Like like Final Fantasy 15 was like groundbreaking to me. Like, wow, we're really here. I've always wanted to see, you know, these creatures and these summons look absolutely as epic as they show them on Final Fantasy 15. So now I'm becoming a graphics whore because, you know, I go back to looking at how all these, you know, all those 8-bit games, and it trips me out when I see all these kids now. That's all they really play, Shovel Knight and all these other crazy.
Yeah, but you know what's okay? There's nothing wrong with what you just said, and that's okay. And I'll give you an example. You go back and watch. You ever see the movie Airplane? Where they kind of make fun of themselves, and you see when the guy's driving to the airport, and it's a green screen behind him, and then all of a sudden it's like cowboys and Indians behind him, and then it's like he's at an airport, like then the thing's going wild. You take all those things for granted, but when we grew up watching movies, and you watched them in the 80s and 90s and things like that, like you had like really bad effects in movies. Now you watch movies, and now you're like, that shit better look real. That Spider-Man better look like he's really flinging from rooftop to rooftop. Meanwhile, Spider-Man in the fucking 80s was a dude in pajamas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was just like, hold on a minute, I got it. And then the screen would like shift over to the lady who needed help, and then a dude in pajamas would just jump down off of like his bed. And you're like, oh, he's here.
We could do. It's stuff that we could make better shit nowadays with their iPhones or whatever.
Right. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the same thing goes for games. So it's like to look at that and then say, now you're into graphics. That's actually like, that's a natural response. That's progression. That's moving forward.
Right. And that's the beautiful thing about this is like, damn, I've never, ever been in that mode. But now just looking at these games and I'm like, man, you know, so like, that's why I say push the limits. I want to see these. I want to see these games at the best that they can be made. Because now we're here. I think what the X is going to provide is games that where we've been waiting for at the beginning of this generation, because I think there were so many people that was disappointed because the games didn't look that much better than the 360 or the PlayStation 3. Now these games are starting to kick in gear and look better than, you know, look like what we were expecting at the beginning of this generation. So I'm excited, man. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Hey, I'm with you 100%, man. I think that we're in a very exciting time right now. And I'm extremely impressed with what's going on. I like these little consoles. You know what I mean? Like Mooch says, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. They've got the longer cords and stuff. There's a Sega one coming out with HDMI as well. Yeah. I'm gonna get that for the simple fact is I still have my Genesis and boxes of games. And I still have my NES and games. The problem is I can't cap those. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do the Nintendo ones either. But if I wanted to do a throwback Thursday on a Sega game and I had one that I could hook up HDMI, I could cap that and put that up on my channel.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's cool. Not only that, at worst, a lot of those games are games that indie developers are trying to copy nowadays. Yeah. I would rather play the original. You know, so a
lot more mystique. You know what I'm saying? Originality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These games now are just copy and paste, in my opinion. They're just, you know.
Games these days are a big gamble. That's the largest factor and that's why you see indies take the risks because the payoffs are either huge or not near as bad. And, you know, like I said, that's why Call of Duty is going to continue to rule the roost because it's a safe bet for Activision year in and year out. You know what I mean? And this year will be no exception. That game is going to do extremely well for that company once again, if Destiny doesn't already like kick some ass come September.
Did you see that D-Bash just tweeted out a great 4K TV with HDR, $599? That's a good deal. I retweeted it if anybody wanted to check it out.
D, send that to our friends over at Podcast Unlocked.
Yes, show that to Ryan and them for $5.99.
It is crazy. It's a CTL, which is normally like the bottom of the bargain stuff, but they just upped the game by including a 10-bit panel, 4K 60 hertz panel as well, wide color gamut, everything, 4K TV, 15 milliseconds input latency, which is really low. That's 5 milliseconds lower than the KS8000, all for $599.
What's the input lag?
15 milliseconds.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow. You know what? This is 55 inch.
That's nice. Dealer, majority of the ones I've seen are all averaging between 20 and 25.
18. Mine has 18, you know. Yeah, I mean, they're...
I'm bookmarking that. Crapgamer could always use another one. You know what I'm saying?
The problem is, though, you know, the brand and stuff. People, that's on one complaint I've heard. I don't know who these guys are. I don't know if it's gonna last. You know, give it a shot. $599, really. Yeah. You know, you can
pick up a. They got protection plans on that shit as well too. So not too bad. Yeah, I would suggest that. You know what? Like, hey, the input lag isn't bad, and it's got HDR. If you play games in HDR, like Mooch still hasn't. But play Gears or Forza Horizon 3 in HDR. Holy shit. Yeah. That's a game. That might even be a bigger game changer than than the 4K stuff. Like games look
different, dude. Even Next Machina, I turned because when you capture footage from the PlayStation with HDR, it kind of distorts the colors. So I turned it off when I was capturing it. That game looks different with HDR on. Last of Us, when I played Last of Us, I kind of was fooling around with it. That game looks like totally different with HDR on than off.
Yeah, and you love that game.
Yeah, HDR is no gimmick. Hey, listen, if we can get Crap to do it, Rand, well, you won't. I don't know if you won't get PS Plus. I really want to get a stream going of Last of Us multiplayer.
I'd play it. I haven't really played it since the PS3. I remember playing it a little bit, but But I'd be willing, man. I'd be down. Hop on that shit.
Listen, one of Rand's rascals. Somebody get him a PS Plus.
Rand's rascals.
I don't know.
How long you been waiting to say that for? How long you been
Actually, I just thought about it about 5 minutes ago.
Hey, one of you little rascals out there.
One of you little rascals out there, get me a PS Plus card.
We got Mooch's, the Mooch Maniacs,
the Maniacs, the Crapaholics.
Well, what are dealers? The dealers dudes.
Yeah,
dealers dudes. That's not bad. That's all right.
Dealers dudes.
Yeah,
Nymphs, nymphos.
We gotta come up with ones for K Mega.
I was gonna say newbies, nerds.
Well, K's a harder letter to kind of.
Okay, make it crazies.
The crazies. K-Mega crazies.
Yeah.
Funny as hell, though. No, honestly, it's a great game, though. Crap, you really should revisit it.
Hey, look, I'm all down for revisit. You know what I picked up was I had never played the standalone Left Behind DLC on that game, so. I might give that a try too. See how that's all about. Like I'm all about trying different things.
Too, just because I
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what's up. That's what's up right there. Hey, if everybody would please hit that like button as I do some kick-ass outros because we have reached the 2-hour mark. Dealer, what do you got going on? I want to congratulate you on your RDX podcast last night. A good group of people, very successful. Wish you guys extremely good success on that, and you guys do that on Tuesday night.
Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I appreciate it, and it was great because I got kicked out of my own podcast, and I kicked it back. I kicked the door in on it, ran in with an even shittier mic than the one I left with. So it was some technical difficulties there, but it shouldn't happen again.
Hey, shit, Disney didn't open with all the rides working, so.
The one ride I had working, so it didn't. But we managed to get through it, and we got a lot of support, and we appreciate everything. But, yeah, that is Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. And thanks, Crab, because you were the most supportive person, with their message and all that. It's nice to see people just know it's about gaming and nothing else. It's about fun. That's what it's supposed to be about, and I appreciate that.
Good show. And like I said, man, you can keep all day because he pisses on the floor. So we can.
We got newspaper everywhere.
Yeah,
they got. I got when he comes on GRG, we got to have a little one of the puppy little pads, so he can because he just all start talking and pissing everywhere, guys. It's just so unruly.
Oh,
But another cool thing is that thanks guys. They got K Mega Men or K Mega Kings. I like that.
Ooh. All right.
Kings. Yeah, I like that.
But you know, kings they tend to go to war with each other though.
Kings and queens. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good show, Craps. Thanks for having me on, of course. And you know,
no problem, man. Anytime you guys want somebody on, want me on there, man, let me know. I'll kick it out and kick it out wide and guess.
Kick it out wide.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mass Effect references. The same Mass Effect.
Oh man.
Hey, Mooch, what do you got going on? Because I know that there's always a lot of stuff going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We try to keep things interesting. Definitely that's Crossfire, 7:00 for this Friday Eastern time, and then we're going to be doing some streaming, a little Moochie Crap stream. Who knows what it'll be this week? Only
Could
God
be
knows.
anything, yeah.
Could be anything. I wouldn't mind getting Crap back on the PS4 to do something. It's always fun to just watch me and him figure out how to work the chat. So that'll be something going on. And then we got MNC Mornings. I believe it's on Crap's channel this week.
Yeah, it's on mine this week. Yeah, it's going to be.
Yes.
It's going to be a damn good show, man. If you guys haven't called in and left your voice messages, go ahead and get that shit done. There's some exciting stuff going on with MNC Morning, so we're can't share everything right now, but a lot of cool stuff going on.
Some very cool shit going on.
Yeah, so appreciate all the support on that show as well. Noof, what do you got going on, man? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's always good to be here, Crap. Again, a great show, guys. It's always great to be amongst these fantastic people I admire so much on the panel. I wish I had more going on, trying to get through the backlog of games, but I'm overdue for at least another podcast here. It's been a little while, and as much as I know some people are asking and wanting, it probably won't be Cletus for the next one. That will show up in due time. But otherwise, guys, where to find me Tuesday nights, as always, in the console corner. With the, usual cast of characters, all that good stuff. And hopefully, like I said, be back again next Wednesday on Xbox Nation. And I'm always open for doing guest work whenever somebody needs a little bit of, a little idiot to jump through once in a while.
Yeah, especially people in Australia that forget to tell you the time. That you're supposed to do the podcast.
Give me the raw on days, but yeah, it's all good.
I appreciate it, Doof. K Mega, man, thanks for coming on, man. What do you got going on? GRG and all that good stuff.
Oh man, yeah, like I jump on the multiplayer when I can with all them fools on there.
I saw the D thing.
Oh man, golly, you know what I'm saying? That it was out of control. Anyway, of course the GRG podcast, man. Can't thank you guys for supporting us, man. That's awesome. And to see people like All Day and Fonz really grow and allow Dealer to just steal them right up under my nose. But I'm just playing. I'm just fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. I'm really not tripping. Like I said, you can have all day.
To my knowledge, I thought he did like 50 podcasts. I just figured, hey, one more ain't gonna hurt him.
I know. He's everywhere. So, but no. Other than that, like. Doing the next podcast with Xbox 448, and then of course, saying the daddy of them all, BGST, man. It's been one hell of a ride, and man, it ain't gonna stop for me. I'm planning on taking a little break for about a week or so here coming up here pretty soon. But other than that, I'm coming back harder and stronger. So man, it's
looking forward to it, man. Good job, and I appreciate you jumping in.
Yeah.
Rand, what do you got going on, bro?
Oh, Xbox 2, but this week was Xbox One.
Who's the Xbox One is the loneliest.
I did it myself. I did it by myself. There's. I enjoy doing the podcast solo sometimes.
How do you do a podcast by yourself, though?
How can I? I'm just that good, bro.
Ah, man. Can you teach me?
What happens if you start botting? Do you ever? You know what I notice when I do a podcast by myself? I always check the live feed once in a while to make sure I'm not botting.
But the last couple times I've done it, I bot right away, so I gotta leave and come back. It's weird, but
so then there's nobody in your podcast while you leave and come back in.
Yep.
It's a no-man podcast.
So I had to do that today because you got people expect the podcast. Gotta give it to them,
Yeah.
Gotta
give it to you.
Monday nights we're back after a couple week absence, and then daily videos and all that good stuff on my YouTube channel. So check that out if you are so inclined to.
Awesome stuff, man. I just want to thank everybody for watching tonight and thank the panel for coming out. I know Rand did another podcast today. I know K Mega was tired and I asked him last minute. Again, if you guys missed it, GKB and She-Wolf they aren't going to be part of the show anymore. They decided to focus on their own show and their own content and streaming and stuff like that. But we're all still cool and going to stream together with friends. No bad stuff. They weren't kicked off or anything like that. So, yeah, so everything's all good, and we will catch you guys here next week. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with us. Rack 'em up.